Herbalife Asia Pacific. Please welcome back Eric Worre.
Hey, hey, hey. All right. Hi, how was lunch? Good? Yeah, I can sign a few. Why not? Okay, Kate, take it easy, take it easy, take it easy. Oh my God. All right, we gotta keep going. We'll do more later, we'll do more later, we'll do more later. we'll do more later. I promise. We got 2 days, we'll do it. We're good. All right. So how was lunch? Good? Good? Good, good, good. Okay, so let me talk to you about a very, very important thing that you need to do if you want to go to the top. Okay, you ready? You need to make a decision. It's the most important thing. My first 3.5 years in my network marketing career, I thought that I'd made a decision. I thought that I was committed. I thought that I was focused. But until I really made a decision, I made casual decisions. Like, yeah, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best. But they weren't do or die. You know, the real decision that says I'm going to the top, period. I'm not going to be stopped, period. There's nobody. If my upline quits, no problem. If my downline quits, no problem. If there's every negative article in the media, no problem. I'm still going to do it. If my friends and family don't like it, no problem. I'm still going to do it. A decision. A real decision. Because once you make a real decision, then the world starts to get out of the way. And I want to tell you about a decision. I need to give you a warning, and then we're going to have a little mastermind session together. Here's the warning. How many people are ready to make a new decision about your success in Herbalife? Raise your hands. Okay. Here and all the different countries. You're ready to make this new decision. Here's the warning. You ready? As soon as you make the decision, the universe is going to test you. Your friends and family are going to test you. Your environment is going to test you. Everything is going to, the strangest things are going to happen. You make this decision, you go home, everything's going to try and distract you, to take you off track, to have you lose focus. Craziest things are going to happen. And this is a test to find out if you're really serious about this decision. And if you stand like a lighthouse in the storm and say, I'm not going to move, and you stay there, even in the face of adversity, then the adversity will go away and you can pursue your focus. But you have to go through the tests. So when you go home after making a big decision this weekend, there's going to be a test. I'm unaware of anybody who's made a huge decision that hasn't gone through a big test after they made that decision. Okay? So know it's coming. It's going to be okay, but you have to be strong. Most people, when they make a decision and then they get tested, and they're saying, oh, this is too much drama, and they say goodbye to their dreams. And they live a much smaller life, but not you. Okay? Okay. So I'd like you to write this down, because I'm going to ask you, we're going to do a breakout session. What is your biggest takeaway so far from the first half of today? Your biggest idea, biggest concept, biggest note that say, oh, that's helpful for me. What's your biggest takeaway so far in this event? And secondly, what are your intentions for your business? This is a good time to set your intentions for 2025. It's a good time to set your intentions for the next 2 years. And I'm going to ask 3 specific questions about your intentions. Question one, what's your biggest takeaway? Think about that. Write that down. Look at your notes. What's the thing that stands out? Your biggest takeaway. And second, what are your intentions? Now, the 3 things that I want you to get specific on when it comes to intentions, because we can go deep on that, right? If you're not qualified for Herbalife Premier League, anybody watching, I know most of the people in this room are qualified, but if you're not qualified, what month are you going to get qualified? Get specific with that month. If you are qualified, you have another option. It's either to go into your team and see how many people you're going to get qualified on your team. You're going to help them see the vision, step into the activity. So it might be about the team, or if you don't have enough people who are willing, coachable, and hungry to go to Herbalife Premier League, you might need to do Premier League again in order to be able to find some new people. So your intentions about Premier League are either to qualify, to go down into the team, see how many you can get qualified, but come up with a number. How many in the next 12 months? How many in the next 24 months do you want to see qualified in Premier League inside of your team? Or if you're already qualified, maybe do it again. And I think it's a good idea. I mean, you think about the history of this company. It was 10 a month. 10 new distributors a month for a long season. That was the culture. It wasn't 10 in a year. It was 10 every month. That's your history. So if it was 10 every month when the company was really growing, and now it's become 10 in a year is an exceptional accomplishment, well, your note should be a mirror to be able to say, for things to change, who has to change? You've got to change. For things to get better, you've got to get better, right? So how often should you re-qualify for Premier League in order to really, truly lead your teams with your example? Once a year? Twice a year? 3 times a year? Once every 4 months? 4 times a year? Once every 90 days? Monthly? 12 times a year? Oh, you're being irrational. Well, your founder wasn't irrational. He was visionary. And he set the standard. He's not here, but you need to set the standard and be the visionary for your teams. Eliminate all of their excuses based upon your commitment. They can't have an excuse because you're doing it. When they're saying it can't be done, they say, well, what do you mean? I'm doing it. So think about your intentions around Premier League, okay? Think about that. Second, what are your intentions when it comes to your pin level? Your pin level. 12 months from today, what pin level would you like to achieve? 24 months from today, what pin level would you like to achieve? And let me give you a suggestion on this. Don't worry about how. You'll figure out the how. If you have a strong enough why and you have a good vision, don't worry about the how. Just what is your intention? You'll figure out the how day by day in the mastermind, learning what you need to learn. Don't worry about the how. What is your intention? And so 1 is Premier League intentions. 2 is pin level intentions. 3 is income, monthly income. What is your monthly income level that you would consider a success 12 months from today, 24 months from today? What are you earning now? Think about that. All right. What would success be a year from today? And then 24 months from today, where would you like it to be? And don't worry about the how. just put the number out there, because that number is going to start to move you towards that achievement. Okay? So Premier League 1, 2, pin level, 3, income level. So I'd like you to just get specific on that. Now, in other sessions, we could talk about your fitness goals, relationship goals, and all different kinds of goals that you could talk about. We're just going to be focused on these 3 things because so many things need to happen for those 3 things to be accomplished, yes? You got to become stronger, you got to become wiser, you got to become more committed, more focused, more consistent, all of those different things. So we'll focus on that as a tool to lead you to the breakthrough that you're looking for in your business. So we're going to do a breakout now here, and all the people watching online in the different markets get into groups of 10, and we're going to take, what do we have, 40 minutes? Is that right? What's the time? Is it 20? 20 minutes. 2 minutes each. I'd like each of you to share to the rest of your group your intentions about those 3 things. What's your Premier League intentions? What is your pin level intentions? What is your monthly income intentions for the next 12 and 24 months? Okay? That's your assignment. We have 20 minutes. We're going to put 20 minutes on the clock. Each person gets 20 minutes. Try and keep everything as tight as you can. So when we come back, we're going to have people share from different parts of the whole APAC region. Okay? All right. 20 minutes. Ready, set, go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Big round of applause. Well done, well done. All right, we're going to have some sharing. We're going to have some people from different parts of the world share, of the region. But before we do that, I want you to just think about what you just experienced. How many of you realized that maybe you were playing a little bit too small? Anybody realize that? As you went through? As you listened to other people? Anyone? Playing too small? Was your dreams big, or were they too small? When you start listening to person after person, you're like, well, maybe if they can do it, maybe I can do it. If that person can do it, well, maybe I can do it. I was only thinking about this, and then I heard these other people talking about, no, maybe I need to go there. I want to re-emphasize again, don't worry about the how. The how is going to happen after the decision. Don't figure out how to do it and then make a decision. Make a decision and then figure out how to do it. Let me tell you what entrepreneurs do. They think different. Okay? Here's what entrepreneurs do. They say yes, and then they tell the world, and then they figure it out. That's what entrepreneurs do. They say yes to a big dream, big goal. They tell everybody, and then they figure out how they're going to do it. And normal people in society don't do that because they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to be humiliated. They don't want to ever make mistakes publicly. So they quietly figure it out. And if they feel like they have a plan that they can achieve, then they say yes, but they don't tell anybody. And only if they succeed, then they tell the world. And that's a small way to play. In our business, the learning is in doing. That's where you're going to learn the most. You make a decision and you go start, and then you're going to figure it out as you go through the process. Saying yes to whatever that goal is about Premier League. Saying yes to whatever that goal is about your pin level. Say yes to whatever your target is when it comes to income. And before you start thinking that maybe we're talking a little bit too much about money, I will tell you, your check, if this is your check, it's a scorecard to how many people you're helping. Your paycheck is a direct reflection of the number of people you are helping with their health, with their finances, with their lives, with their families. That's what your check is a reflection of. So it's not just about money, it's about contribution. Nothing wrong with money, right? when you figure out the contribution piece in our business, it's one of the things I love the most about Herbalife is you can't succeed without helping people. You can't do it. In a lot of businesses, you can succeed, you win, somebody else loses. Here, you cannot win unless you help a lot of other people win. It's a pretty cool thing to be able to do. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to some different markets. We're going to have some people share their intentions as we're starting this process, okay? And we're going to start here in Korea. So, and let everybody watch. And there's somebody here who has a mic, who has a microphone. You have it over here? All right. Go ahead, young lady.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm really nervous right now.
No problem.
Okay.
What's your name?
My name is Eun Young, and right now I'm Global Expansion Team.
Everybody give her a round of applause.
I really want and I need a huge growth in my business in 2025. So I decided to finish 10+2 on a quarterly basis. And I want to, hold on. I will finish Millionaire Team in 2025. And
Did you notice how she changed her language? I just want to congratulate you on this because I want to is way different than I will. Okay? Just think about this. I want to is one thing, and she stopped herself. And she said, hold on, I will. I want you to be thinking about, I will. Not I want to, not I hope to, not I'm thinking about, I will. It's done. Okay? Or even better than I will is I am.
Oh, okay.
Before it's real. You know, and I just want you to understand the power of your words to yourself. When you're thinking and when you're speaking, your subconscious brain is listening to everything that you say. And if you talk as if it's done to yourself, you'll start to put yourself on a path to get there faster. Okay? So sorry for interrupting, but it was just a learning moment, and I admire you for catching and making a little correction. So please start over again.
Okay, I am a millionaire team in 2025, and I am a top millionaire team in 2026. And I will earn 10 million won every month in 2025, and I will triple it next year. And all my sponsors and my mentors are listening what I'm talking about, listening I announced. So I will try to achieve my goal. Okay, thank you.
Give her a round of applause. And congratulations on that. Just listen to the language, right? Here's your assignment, an assignment for all of you. Write it down. Whatever your intentions are, write them down. And they might go from I hope to I will, to I am. And if you can get to I am millionaire team. I am president's team. I am making $20,000 a month or whatever the equivalent is in your currency. I have qualified every quarter for Premier League. So if you use that language, you write that down, you look at that every day, it'll start to put your brain into alignment with your goals. You won't be fighting it all the time. Okay? So well done, you. Congratulations. We're going to go to Australia. We have somebody who's going to be, hello, and who is this? Melissa? Hi, say again.
It's Melissa here.
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Why don't you tell everybody your intentions?
My intentions for 2025, I will be a qualified president's team in November and earning $40,000 a month. And my 2-year goal is to be a one diamond 15K president's team earning $60,000 a month by the end of 2026.
All right, give her a round of applause, everybody. Wait for the translation. Well done, well done. Now, can you bring her back up? Melissa? Yeah? All right. So, Melissa, I will give you the same feedback, right? And did you hear the language? I will. My goal is versus I have. And it feels like you're lying when you do this. And you almost need to get that feeling in your head that it's done. I just have to add time. Okay? It's done in my vision, in my imagination, it's done. Once you get that clear, and Melissa, your assignment is write that down in a way that it's already achieved. Like you're looking back in 2027, and you're looking back at 2025 and 26, and you're talking about what you already did. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. This is really important that you get this language done right and that you look at it every day. My suggestion to you, once you get these intentions, put it somewhere where you can see it and you read it out loud every morning when you get up and every night before you go to bed. Every single day. And it'll start to put you on a path towards your goals. And again, Melissa, thank you very much for sharing. And your goals and your intentions sound amazing. Amazing. I'm excited to be able to see it.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Indonesia. Hello, Indonesia.
Hello, Indonesia. Okay, thank you, Mr. Eric, for this opportunity. My name is Vito Siwan. I'm a executive president team 20K. My goal for this 2024 or for the next 24 months is to have one new president team, and I will have for the income $100 up to $150,000 a month. That's it.
That's it. I like it. Let's give him a round of applause. Well done. Again, you hear it? Do you hear it? You're like, I need to just it's little tiny bits of language will start to change the programming in your mind, okay? It might sound like I'm saying this too much. I can't say it enough. Until you go from hoping to believing that it's done. That's the difference. Then the vision is, we'll figure out how we're going to do it. We're going to do it together. Who wants to go with me? Your ability to attract everyone. And my friend from Indonesia, your ability to attract everyone with your vision of it being done. Not for yourself, yes, but for your team. Can you have a vision for somebody on your team that has not even been recruited yet? The answer is yes. You can.
Yes, of course. Yes, we can.
And
why not?
And the next time you're talking to a prospect, you're saying, I'm looking for somebody like you, and here's what I see for them. Do you want to be able to be that person? Because I'm equipped to be able to help you. Because here's what I've done, here's what I'm doing, here's where I'm going. You want to go with me? Let's go. All right? So give him another round of applause, and we will go to Malaysia.
Thank you.
Malaysia.
Hi everyone, my name is Janway. I'm from Malaysia.
Hey, Malaysia.
Yeah, and I'm a 20K president team. I'm 35 years old, and I am a Chairman's Club member in 2026, and I am earning $2 million per year, and we will go our country, Malaysia, to be top 10 in the world. Let's grow. Hey.
Very, very good, young man. Did he say 35? 25? 35. 35, and he's pres team already and going to chairman? 35.
Yes.
Well done, young man. Well done, young man.
Yes.
Good work. Did you notice how he said everything? I am. I've already achieved. Do you believe that he's going to get it done? Did you sense the certainty in his body language? You can see if he sits down with a prospect, what's his results going to be versus somebody who's shaky and hoping and crossing their fingers. He's like, no, I'm doing it. You want to do it with me? His confidence is going to totally attract all the right types of things. So well done, young man. Proud of you. My friends in Malaysia. Let's go to Cambodia. Hey, Cambodia.
Hi, Eric.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So I'm Charlie from Cambodia. Okay, so my intention for 24 months for HPL, I going to do for 30 plus 6, which is 3 times HPL. Yes, and my intention for my team is 15K one diamond, and I will receive 50,000 a month as my income in 2026.
Well done. Well
Yay!
done. Let's go Herbalife. I love this shirt. That's super cool. That's really good.
Let's go Herbalife.
Let's go Herbalife. All right. So again, you're starting to feel this? Do you have this written down in your notes the same exact way? You might need to go do a few corrections. Some of you maybe shared with each other, but you didn't write it down. You shared it verbally, but you didn't write it down. Please write it down. And then polish it, make it a little tighter, little tighter, little tighter. In every market, write it down. Show it with somebody. Show it to a friend. Show it to your upline. Show it to your mentors. And have them give you some feedback. And some of you, even in your intentions, your goals are still a little bit too small compared to what you could do, what's possible. Somebody said, well, you can't get to this rank in this period of time. Well, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can make this happen. You have to give yourself permission to go there, all right? Give her a big round of applause again, and we're going to go to Vietnam. Vietnam. Hey, hey.
Hello, everybody. My name is Đỗ Thị Minh Hà, and I come from Hanoi, Vietnam. And this is my goal in 2025. I will be a millionaire team in 2025. And for now, I always get bonus 2% for get team. So when I qualify millionaire team, surely I will also try my best to get full bonus 4%. And my income is gonna be $15,000 in 2025, and I will qualify Herbalife Premier League in 2025 September. That's my goal. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So again, you hear it? She got part of it, and then part of it was hoping and praying, I'm going to do my best, and the other part is it's already done. So I'm going to say every one of you can give yourself permission to go all the way there where it's already done, okay? All of the amazing people in Vietnam. First of all, I wish, I hope I get to come see you in person because I'm so impressed with what you've done in Vietnam. I want to congratulate you for all your success. Yay! You've done just an amazing job, put together an incredible group of people. So it's good to see you, and congratulations. We're going to go to one more. And that is Singapore. Let's go to Singapore. Hey!
Hi, Eric. Okay, my name is Sam. I'm from Singapore. I'm Senior Executive President Team 15K. My target is that together with my wife, okay, we will champion in 2025, 20K, and at the same time, within the next 24 months, we will add another one more new diamonds. And our target income is that we're going to make at least US $150,000 every single month. Okay? And to qualify for the Premier League, okay, we are already on the way. Okay, so within the next 60 days, we will complete our Herbalife Premier League.
Yep.
And not only we will ensure that all our downline also go together with us within the next 60 days to qualify for the Premier League.
Well done, well done, well done. Congratulations. And listen, this is all great and fantastic. I want you to just be thinking about the Premier League specifically. How many times a year line up with your intentions? How many times a year should you qualify in order to be able to hit your PIN level, in order to be able to hit your income goals? How many times? If you just set your income and set your PIN level, how many times do you need to do in order to bring in enough fresh, excited, enthusiastic people in order to be able to create more lines of significance within your organization? What lines up? Okay? And we're going to spend some time talking about how. But when we set your commitments here, don't worry about the how, just put the commitment down. And then for the next day and a half, we're going to start giving you how to do this, how to do that, how to learn, how to grow. Here's some systems, here's some processes, here's some business flows, here's some business methods that you can do in order to be able to turn those commitments into reality. Okay? So, who's going to make sure that you write it down? Raise your hands. You write it down and you put it in a present tense as if it's already done, even if it doesn't feel genuine. Okay, this is for you to be able to read and reprogram your subconscious brain. When you do that, then everything that we're going to be sharing for the next day and a half is going to have a different meaning. Because when we give you a strategy, you're like, I can do that in order to be able to help my commitment. That's a good idea. I can do that in order to be able to improve my business flow. I can do that in order to be able to get more people into Premier League. Okay? So this might seem basic, but there's nothing more important. Until this decision becomes absolutely rock solid, there's a limit. If this is shaky, there's a limit to your growth. When it's solid, it's like a magnet. It will pull you through all the obstacles. It'll make the obstacles go away when the commitment's solid. Okay? So I'm proud of you for making it. I'm proud of you for discussing with each other. And I'm proud of you for sharing. Sharing, those who shared publicly and those who shared at each one of your breakouts. All right? So we're going to bring back Stefan Graziani, who's going to talk about more of the strategies that you can do in order to be able to increase your productivity. Stefan, come on up. He's being wired up. Get him, pal.
All right. It's a trap. You guys are trapping me. I saw that. Okay. All right. So it starts with the commitment. And it was interesting because Rob, as Eric was doing that presentation, he looked over and, this is like John Kennedy. When John Kennedy said, we're going to go to the moon, but he had no idea how to get to the moon, right? So there's saying you're going to do something, and then there's what is it going to take to actually make it happen. And so I want to share with you a couple of things, because if you look so far in your journey, most of the time what happens is that there's a beginning, you start to create growth, and there's what we would call an S-curve, where sometimes our impression is that, and many of you, like when you joined Herbalife, you had a vision of like when you would become president team and how your business would grow. And what ends up happening is eventually you learn that it's not exactly like you thought it was. You thought maybe this Herbalife journey would be starting, and then you go get team, millionaire team, president team, 15K, 20K, 1 diamond, 30K, 2 diamonds, and you thought that this would be a growth like this. But it really isn't a growth like that. What happens is it grows up and then comes like this and then maybe goes down a little bit and then comes up again and goes like this and maybe comes back down and goes up. It's never just a constant growth. It's always in a cycle. And so what I want to talk about is I want to talk about this S-curve, because part of understanding the business that we are in, and actually all business, it works through an S-curve. And so right now, you just decided and made a choice and verbalized it in a way of what you're going to accomplish over the next 2 years. But if you look at where you are today in your business and you look at this curve, where would you say that you are right now in your business in this curve? Are you at the beginning of growth for the future? But for having this growth in the future, you have to have already the way you're going to make it happen. It's one thing to say, if you have a 4,000 royalty point check today, and you say, I will be president team, I'm a president team at the end of 2025, saying it is the beginning, but you have to have a way that it's going to happen. And so how many of you right now, when you look at this curve, you would say, I'm at the beginning of figuring out what I need to do. Or I know what I need to do and I need to do the work, but it's going to take work to build this result. And that's what it means to be at the early stage. You're at the beginning of implementing, but there's a lot of work before the momentum creates and before the growth comes. So that's one stage. Then there's an early stage of growth, meaning that you've been doing the work and you're starting to have now the results that are starting to come. It's not the big momentum, but it's like the beginning results starting to come from the work that you've been doing, but you know it's just the beginning. Then there's, as you mature the curve, you start to get duplication, you start to get momentum. This is almost like the magic period, where the effort that you do is not matching the results. The results are coming, but it's coming from the work you did in the early moments, the work that you did from the early stages and the beginning of the growth, and then you get this momentum which brings you sometimes much higher than you ever thought you thought things were going to go. But always the curve tops off, always. And so this is what we call the maturing and then coming into a period of flattening out and even declining. And so if you think about your business, every single one of you in this room, you've had this cycle already at least one time in your business, because it's a natural process. Sometimes this cycle comes. So I experienced this in many ways. When I first started Herbalife and we had the business system of Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, when I would come to a market and we would bring people to the HOMs, we would have the STSs, we would have the supervisor schools, we would have the qualifications. Almost every market that I went to, it started like this, it grew, it went like this, and then it flattened out, and then it came down. So it was a maturing of a business model or cycle, and it happened like that. Then what happened is we had to figure out how to create the next generation of business. And so I'm going to share in a minute how important it is to be able to identify, but most of the time when you're in the decline, when you're in the flattening out period or the period that comes down, people have a hard time in that moment. So we're going to talk a little bit about what needs to happen in that moment, because you have to expect it, first of all. The problem is people don't expect it. And they're, during the mature growth phase where they have momentum, you know, we say you get drunk on the Kool-Aid. Everything is going so good. You know, it's like everything is fantastic. You're getting drunk on the punch. It's like it's the party, it's nice, it's fun. And what ends up happening by the time it matures and it's time to actually be working for the beginning of the next growth curve, what ends up happening sometimes is you let that period of time go too long. Now, what happens when you reach this level of maturity, you have to be looking and feeling at what is changing in the marketplace. Because in Herbalife, we also have this way of thinking, just do more. If it's not working, do more. But if you do more of the same thing, but it's not effective, then that's not the answer. Sometimes you have to do different than what you were doing before. And this is the reality of the world that we live in today. Technology changes, competition changes, people change, behaviors change. You cannot do the same things for decades and decades because the world will change. It will become ineffective. And so I share this because this is very important to understand. If I were to ask in the room, how many of you think, when you look at that curve, that you're kind of in this moment where you have flat business or it's declining a little bit and you need to discover something new to start working on something new to create a new S-curve? How many of you are kind of in that moment where you think, I need to create something new. I don't know exactly what it is. I have my DMO, I have my model, but I'm looking for something I need to find something. How many of you feel that's your moment right now? Okay, very good. So a lot of you are in this moment where you're searching now. You know, and maybe when I showed the slide of, you know, the nutrition clubs and all of the growth, what did you get inspired by? You got inspired by, oh my gosh, there's someone now in Herbalife, they're doing this, and you recognize in the past, maybe you had also those moments, but you don't have it right now. So this is called kind of being in the discovery phase, like you're ready to learn something new, something that is going to come and change something for you. So this is perfect timing right now. How many of you think that you found the things you need to do, but it's still very early? You're in this process of now learning this new thing, implementing this new thing, and you know the result is going to come, but you also know that you have a lot of work to do still. You still have to figure some things out. You're in the right direction, but there's work, there's some things to figure out, it's the beginning, but you know you're going to have this period of like work, and it's like just the beginning. You found the solution, or part of it, but you know that it's the beginning and you're going to have a period of work to start to get the results. How many of you feel like that's where you are right now? Okay, good. So it's a great place to be. Some of you might already even be doing something and you're starting to feel the results. Like, you know, it's not like it's the big momentum. It's not the big growth, but you feel like, you know what? It's working. But I know if I keep working, I know if I just keep doing it, that I'm going to start to get the growth again. How many of you feel like that's where you are right now? Okay, very good. And then, who's in big momentum right now? You know, the magic time where actually it feels like everything is going easy and it's flowing and you're getting growth and new people are joining and how many of you are in that momentum right now? Okay, this is from Eric's training, right? I am there. I am. Okay, very good. Give yourselves a hand. Yeah, give yourselves a hand. Very good. Okay, so it's the beginning. This is the beginning. So what's important is you have to appreciate this part. You see, sometimes people, they emotionally have a difficult time when things are not going the way they want them to go because they remember how it was before. They remember the magic. They remember the momentum. They remember all of that. But you can't have the momentum unless you have the crisis. You can't create new growth unless you go through a period where you're not growing. You can't create growth and momentum unless you've done the work in the early stages and you've done it consistently and you've done it for a long enough period and you've done it intensively for enough time, okay? So this is really what business looks like when you're looking at accomplishing big things over a long period of time and you're really looking at going to high levels, 20K, 30K, 40K, 1 diamond, 2 diamonds, 3 diamonds, 5 diamonds. You've got to understand you're going to go through multiple S-curves. If I were to look at when I was an Herbalife distributor, I probably had 4 different periods where I had to go through this, and it was a period where I had to learn new business systems, new models. It was a period where I had to learn, I shared my chairman's club and that period of 6 years that was very long for me, right? So there's personal development periods of crisis. There's business periods of crisis. There's all different types of things that happen. But you're going to have to understand that there's going to be multiple times that you're going to have to go through this. And you want to not be sleeping and just thinking you can do the same thing over and over again, because you will not be able to recreate a new momentum doing the same thing that you did in the past. So it's important to be able to identify when you need to change, right? It's important to have the entrepreneurial perspective of things, because their innovation has to occur. You have to create this new situation. So part of the mastermind is to help you to do this, to think differently, to understand what's going on, to share what's happening, so that you can take different things, be supported by different people at different times, support people as well, and that you've got the best chance to go through. So part of this is the education. We talked about, where are you right now in your education and understanding? This is 2 days of education that we never had before. This is 2 days of creating some things that we never have ever done in 44 years history with the company. Okay, so this is a new beginning for everyone. So a lot of what is important also is that it's not only you understanding that you're going to have to go through here, but one of the hardest things is you're going to have to bring organizations through change, right? So if you are doing one DMO and now there's a new business system or a new model that you're going to have to bring people in, and you're going to have to lead an organization through, this can create also a little bit of complication. So there's another aspect that's important to understand, and this is really the bell curve. This is that sometimes when you figure something out, and everybody kind of has, the way that they are about things. By the way, how many of you don't like to change so much? It's like change is not something that's natural for you. You would rather stick to what you know. You don't want to change too often. You only change if you have to change. But how many of you're kind of that way about change? It's just not your friend. It's not, you don't like it. It's not comfortable for you. You would rather have things be, right? Yeah, very good. And then how many of you love change? It's like you get bored, you always are looking for something to change, you always want to, and normally one person drives the other person crazy, right? It's like they always want to change. How come you just can't, how come you just can't, how come you always have to bring something new? Like, if we could just and so this curve is actually quite interesting, because this curve talks to bringing an organization through change. And the bell curve also talks about the adoption of innovation, like technology. I don't know how some of you are, but how many of you, as soon as there's a new iPhone that comes out, as soon as there's a new something that comes out, you always are ready to jump, and you are going to get in you want the new one as soon as it comes out, if you can afford it. And, it's just, you love to change. As soon as there's something new, it's like, I'm signing up. Give it to me. How many of you are like that? And then how many of you are like, why would I change? Because it still works. It still works. The new one, of course, maybe it has a couple things different, but this one works completely fine. I don't need a new phone, okay? So this curve talks a little bit about how people are, and think about your organizations, think about how you are as well, about change. And then think about the things that you've had to change. And actually, if you think about the company, there's always been things that, quite honestly, have been changing. The marketing plan that we had when in 1991, when I first became a distributor, is different than the marketing plan we have today. It used to be that to qualify supervisor, you had to do 4,000 volume points in 1 month, or you could do 2,500 volume points 2 consecutive months, or you could do a line qualification to become a supervisor in 1 month, okay, or 2 months. And that was the way that you qualified supervisor. And then a change came that said you can accumulate 3 to 12 months to become a supervisor. At that time, you would imagine that everyone would decide that that was a good idea. But there were some people that said, no, this is not the way we do things. Mark Hughes started the company this way. Why would we change? But there were some people that jumped into the change. But eventually, if you look at the bell curve, you had the innovators that brought the idea. Okay, and a lot of times we have some very innovative people like Leon Weisbein. You know, he's very innovative. He's always bringing ideas to the company. You should do this, you should do that. And the company will be like, okay, go try in Russia. If it works in Russia, maybe then we'll look at it for the rest of the world, okay? So Leon would be like an innovative person. He's kind of an innovator, bringing ideas, always thinking about something to change, always has an idea. Then you have the early adopters, meaning the people that see the same vision and they're courageous and they say, you know what, let's try. That's kind of like the leap of faith when you see the vision, but you don't know for sure because it hasn't been proven yet. Other people, there's kind of this gap called the chasm. Other people, they say, okay, you go, we're going to watch, and if it's okay, then I'm going to go. And so what ends up happening is you have this, right, you have this early majority that they wait because if it's good, they want it. If it's not good, they don't want it. But they don't want to be the early ones. They want to be they don't want to be the last one, but they don't want to be the first ones. So this is the early majority. So this is the ones that are going to wait until the proof comes, and then they're going to go. And then you have the late majority. That's when everyone's going. They're just like, now we go because it's safe. Everybody's, you know, it's working. We know, now we have the proof. Okay, so let's go. And then you have, at the very, very end, you have what we call the laggards. And they're the ones that they go, but in their mind they say it was better than before. It was better before. You know, the company changed, so we go, but you know, really, it was better before. Okay, so when you look at your organization, when you have this new idea, when you discover this new business model, when you discover this thing that you're excited about personally, and you want to see this change because you know it's going to be great and it's going to bring this great future, you have to think that you have an organization of people and you have to know each person. You have to know who your leaders are and how they are. Because if you go in front of the room and you say, okay, everybody, we're going to change, this is going to be amazing, and you know that only a small percentage of them are going to be the excited ones that are going to be, yes, I'm going to follow you. Yes, I love your idea. Yes, I'm going to try, but that's only 13.5% of people. Then you get all upset because you say, how come not everyone understands? How come they're not excited? How come they can't see what I see? You know, I don't understand. They must be stupid. Like, how can they not see this? How many of you have experienced that before? With your organization, that you're like, how can they not understand? How come they don't follow me? You know, like, and then how many of you in that process, your relationship with people became damaged because you became emotionally upset about it. You wanted them to change, you wanted them to see, but they didn't see, you became frustrated, it created tension between you. So this is important because you have to understand that even if you like to change things, even if you have a vision, even if you have a plan, not all of your people are going to see and want to follow the plan. So what's important is you find first those early adopters. You find the people that are willing to and want to take on this new change, and you work with them. And you don't expect everyone else to come at the same time. You work with them because they have the vision, they have the belief, they're willing to do the work. They're going to put it, and together you work with them because then you can help to get over this chasm because you can prove what's working. A lot of people, they go to the organization, they say, everybody, we're doing this, and then the organization, they say, I'm not so sure. and then they say, oh, no one's following me. No one wants to do the work. No one sees what I see. So when you're going to be innovating, when you're going to see something new, and when you're going to want to implement something new, you need to find the people that are the ones you're going to implement this with. Don't expect everyone is going to follow, because it's the wrong expectation. You need to first, for the people that need to have proof, you need to prove first that it's working. Some of you get frustrated because your people don't follow and they don't believe, but you haven't proven to them yet. Some of you find something you get excited about and you go to your people and say, you should do this. You're going to do this, but you haven't done it. You didn't open the nutrition club and show the new model or the new way of working. Or you didn't, and in this room you all qualified Premier League. But if you go to your people and say, do this, but you're not willing to do it, and you're not willing to prove, then you can't get upset that the people that are waiting for the proof before they go, they're not going. Because they're waiting for you and your leadership and for you to do first. So you want to think about you doing first. You want to think about who is your 13.5% of organization leaders that will follow, that you will work together with them, and then you have enough proof to have the early majority come. But people are going to wait for proof. And a lot of times people are not willing to do the work personally to prove. Okay, so this is important. The last thing is that Eric talked about, number one, you declare. You look at your vision, you say, I am, I will, as if it's so, but you still need to build whatever needs to get built to make it there. So when John Kennedy said to the American nation, we will go to the moon, he didn't know how to get to the moon. We had to figure out how to build the rockets to get to the moon and get back, right? You have to figure out, there's the building part of it. And so the next part to this piece is really this idea, and what's really important here is that you don't get fixed, if we can get this slide up, that you don't get fixed on a fixed way of doing something. Part of the problem in Herbalife is that when someone discovers something, they think that it is the way to do something. And history has told us that when people get very fixed on a way of doing something, a DMO, a model, whatever it may be, a system, what ends up happening is that they get very stuck on that it should look this way. Okay, and so we're going to talk about this because, number one, if you want to build a business to take you, as you've said, to $20K, to $100,000 a month, $150,000 a month, to Chairman's Club in the future, you're going to have to build the business system. You're going to have to build the vehicle to take you there. And there is not one vehicle, okay? There's not the right vehicle. There's many different ways of getting there. And this is one of the beautiful things about Herbalife, is when you have this many entrepreneurs, when you have this many people focused on developing something to take you to new heights, you have many different versions. And that's part of the value of the mastermind is the collective sharing of all of these different aspects. Okay, so what's interesting is Eric talks a lot about systems, and everything is a system. And he has a very clear definition of what is a system and how do you know it's a system. Okay, but if you think of rockets just as an analogy, if you are going to, and you think of John Kennedy, and you think of, saying we are going to go to the moon, but then actually building something that can get you out of Earth's atmosphere against gravity into space, but then can actually hold astronauts with oxygen, right, and the temperature, and all of the solar radiation, and actually, based on everything we know, get out of Earth's atmosphere into space to make it directionally to get to the moon, to get to, circle the moon, and then to have something that goes down, that lands on the moon, and then comes up from the moon and joins at the right time, at the right place, to be able to then go back to Earth and then come into the atmosphere, which is a different problem than getting out of the atmosphere, come back in without burning up, and then land, not on land, but in the ocean, so it's a soft landing, and have a capsule that actually can hold you, and the parachutes that can actually make sure you land soft enough. Like, that's a big deal. From saying in a news conference, we will go to the moon, to building what needs to actually happen to go to the moon and back. So, good analogy is that if you think about all of the things that have to happen, it's a lot of systems. And so Eric showed you today, now these are systems that are important for a successful, rocket to go and accomplish different things. But Eric showed you a whole list of systems, that are there, that are helpful, that he's gained through experience of working for 30 years in network marketing and helping leaders to develop and identify and implement within their organizations to create the type of results that they want to create, right? And so in Herbalife, we have our systems as well. We would call those DMOs, right? Many different things, referral systems, but this whole idea of systems and a business system is really something that's quite important. And so, one of the things that we've talked about very often is the culture within Herbalife, and that, we want to keep things fun, simple, and magical. And when I started as a distributor in 1991, it was quite fun, always fun, right? It was quite simple. Invite people to HOMs, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, do an HOM, success training seminars, STS, supervisor workshop. It was quite simple. Then what ended up happening is we developed a lot of systems, business systems. And it's okay, the presentation, this is the last page. But we developed a lot of business systems and DMOs and ways of working, and things became more complex. So I think that if we can be fun, simple means anybody can do it. If you have a good business system and it's documented and people know the steps, then it is something that anybody can do. And then the magical part, it's this part. It's the growing part. It's all the qualifications. It's the royalties that grow. It's the check. It's magical. What's not magical is when you don't have the growth. What's not magical is when you're frustrated because you're in this situation or you're in this situation. What's not magical is when your organization that you made promises to, that you love, that you want to help be successful and fulfill the dream and the vision, that's not happening the way that you want it to happen. Fun, if all of those things are happening, we're always having fun. This is the nature of our business. And so I think the fun, simple, and magical is possible today, but the simple part means taking business systems and understanding and giving it to people in a way that they know what to do so that they can produce the results that they want to produce. Okay, so I'm going to bring Eric back up. He's going to go through systems and talk about different aspects of it, and also leave you guys and kind of do a session, because how well you implement systems into your business and how clear you are on what you need in terms of systems is going to be very important to help you to get the lift off, to be able to get and navigate and be achieving and accomplishing what you want to accomplish, okay? And so please help me welcome back up Mr. Eric Worre.
Okay. All right, how you doing? Everybody good? All right. We're gonna just power through, okay? We're gonna do our best to finish at 6 o'clock, but we're just gonna go. You got enough energy to do it with me? Yes? Okay, good. All right. Let's talk about systems a bit. Here's how you know you have a system, and you need to be thinking about every aspect of your business. Remember those 52 things that I threw up on the screen? How many of those were systems? If you think in terms of systems, because we tend to like wing it and improvise and make stuff up as we go, and we forget the good things that we did that worked. You know, how many things really worked for you and you stopped doing them? Why? Because they weren't put into a system. Here's how you know you have a system. When everybody knows it, everybody does it, and it works. That's when you know you have a system. When everybody knows it, everybody does it, and it works. You're like, well, we have a system. Well, does everybody know it? No. Does everybody do it? Well, everybody knows it inside of our team. Well, does everybody do it? No. Okay. It's not a system then. It's just a good idea. Systems are really, really tight. And I will put something else in your notes when it comes to systems. This is the basic test. If it's not written, it's not a system. It's just a hope. It must be written. If you want to have a retention system, a recognition system, a new distributor launch system, it needs to be written. And as simple as you can make it. If most of the time, for most systems, you should be able to put it on one piece of paper. It doesn't need to be 28 pages. It's very difficult to duplicate 28 pages. Okay? When you have a good system, when a person looks at the system, person on your team looks at the system, here's what you want them to think. This looks simple. I think it'll work. And I think I could do it. You can have a system that only works for a few people. Well, that's not a system that's going to really duplicate within your organization because you have to have a high level of skill. An average person needs to be able to say, this looks simple. I think it'll work. I think I could do it. Everybody knows it. Everybody does it. And it works within your organization. Think back through what was the first system in Herbalife? Use, wear, talk. Did everybody know it? Did everybody do it? And did it work? Yes. Now think about all the things that you've added since then are complicated or too much stuff or only a few people do it. Not everybody does it over here. This person does it a little different. This team does it a little different. And because of that, there's confusion in the marketplace. So if you want to get maximum duplication within your organization, you need to simplify. Simplify. A lot of times people will pick a word of the year. Have you ever done that? Here's the word that you're going to have for this year. This year I have 2 words. You know what my words are? Focus and simplicity. You know how hard it is to simplify? Oh, it's so easy to complicate. It's so easy to add stuff. It's so easy to have another layers and, oh, we should have this. Oh, that's a good idea. And pretty soon, instead of 3 steps to getting a new person started, it's 35 steps to getting a new person started. And people get lost in all the complication. What is just too much in order to be able to create duplication within your organization? You have to have the maturity, and simplicity is the hardest thing in the world. Especially with a large volunteer group of people. How do you say it with less words? How do you say it with less steps? How do you get it on one piece of paper? I mean, the one piece of paper should be a test for you. If you can't fit it on one piece of paper, I would challenge you that it might be too complicated in order to be able to create maximum duplication. So think about any system that you have. Can you get it on a piece of paper? If you can't, I challenge you to try. What words can you cut out? What steps are not necessary? What's somebody's thing that they're in love with, but it doesn't really work? Sometimes we can fall in love with things, and we like them because they work for us, but they don't work for the team. So, the network, building a team, is everything. Now, you might have a business where you're selling a lot of product. You're in the food service business. Some of you are in the food service business. You're providing food through your nutrition clubs. or you're in the workout supplementation business. You're taking care of people who are working out, so they have good nutrition and good supplements in order to be able to do that. But I'm going to suggest to you, if you really want to reach the whole world, you need to strengthen and grow your network of other entrepreneurs. You need to build a bigger and more lasting team. And what I'm going to tell you is, you ever see a tube of toothpaste? Right? You have toothpaste, yeah? And you ever have somebody in the family that's trying to squeeze out the last tiny little bit? It's like there's a little bit more. I can get a little bit more out of there. Yeah? That's what some of you are doing with your existing team. You're trying to squeeze the last little juice out of your existing team. So it's like, oh, come on, you could give me one more Premier League out of this. I can get one. If I really push. And what I'm going to suggest is, get a fresh tube of toothpaste. It's so much easier. Just get a new tube. You don't need to squeeze your existing team. Let them be what they're going to be. They've given you all the toothpaste they're going to give you. So much less stress. Go get a fresh tube. Oh, this is amazing. You don't even have to roll it up in the end. Nothing. So, it's funny because it's true. You're thinking about, oh man, I've been squeezing my friend for forever. Let your friend be what they're going to be. They've already shown you what they're going to do. They've already shown you the fears they're willing to face. They've already shown you. Give somebody else a chance. Let them step into another level. But what that means for you is understanding that we need to bring in the class of 2025, not squeeze the class of 1995. Okay? The 2025 class, the 2026 class. That's what we need to do. There's only 4 things that we do in our business from a business standpoint. We sell products and support our customers. That's one thing that we do. Second thing that we do is we recruit an ever-expanding team of other people who are selling and supporting, and we support those people when we recruit them and bring them into our business. Third thing that we do is we duplicate the process. We cause more people to engage in the right behavior. Duplication. And the fourth thing that we do is we lead. We lead the teams that we built. And leadership's very, very important. And this is what this mastermind's all about, is that this mastermind needs to lead the entire APAC market by doing what? Squeezing their existing teams or giving new people a chance. You need to give new people a chance, okay? Which means some of us, it's so comfortable to support the team that you have because you believe in them, you want them to do well. But if you sit too long with your old team, you're ignoring what could be with a team that needs to come into your business to provide new life, new excitement, new enthusiasm. That's what you need to do. So if you want to go to the next level, and if you want to serve your older team, what's the best thing you could do for them? Bring in a new team. Show them what's possible. Show them that you're willing to lead by example. Show them that you can do it again. Show them that they're not the only people in the world that are going to get support. You want them to get into more action? Go start building a new team. Watch them wake up again. Good things will happen. So in this, I want to talk about one of the core systems that I would recommend to you. And I learned this idea from a good friend of mine, one of my mentors. He told me probably 10 years ago. He said, Eric, all business is conversation. All business is conversation. If you want to think about business, if you're in conversation, you're in business. If you're not in conversation, your business is closed. Makes sense. So, most of you don't have a quality problem when it comes to having conversations with people on your team or conversations with prospects. You have a quantity problem. You're already good at having the conversation. You're just not having enough conversations. If you're going to bring in the class of 2025, I'm going to suggest that you go in a burst of activity to increase the quantity of conversations and increase the number of people joining your organization and bring them in as a group. So I'm going to give you an exercise that we're going to do live together here, okay? It's going to be an interesting exercise. And what we're going to do is what I call a conversation challenge. Now, I want to do this live with you. And I'm going to have you start as many conversations as you can in 30 minutes. I'll let you know when this starts. I want you to start as many conversations as possible with anybody who has not joined your team as a distributor. You can have a conversation with customers. You can have a conversation with anybody that has not joined as a distributor, okay? Or maybe they joined a while ago, but they quit. They could rejoin potentially. That's fine. You could talk to them if you'd like to. But we're going to increase quantity of conversations. And here's what I learned about conversations. If you'll just start them, you don't need to prospect somebody in the first 5 seconds. You just need to start a conversation. You can forget that you have a product and forget that you have a business. And just be a normal person and have a conversation with somebody. And guess what's going to happen in the conversation if you keep the conversation going? There will be an opportunity for you to talk about your product. There'll be an opportunity for you to talk about your business. You don't need to worry about it. It doesn't need to happen in 5 seconds. That's where some of our reputational issues in network marketing come from, is we're a little too fast sometimes. Hi, nice to meet you. Let me tell you about my business. We can build a little bit of rapport first in the conversation, and from that rapport, we'll have an opening to be able to talk about the business. You don't need to rush. There's unlimited people in the world, and if you learn how to be a professional at having more conversations going at any moment in time, you never have to worry about signing people up, having people join your business. Never. There's a concept called filling the funnel that I like to talk about. If you ever see a funnel where you're like pouring like oil into a car or cooking something, you're pouring something into the top. See, if you take honey, and if you take a little drop of honey and you drop a drop into that funnel, will that honey make it through to the bottom, yes or no? It won't. It'll dry up and it'll get stuck on the side. There's not enough to be able to get it to go. What if you put 1 drop every day? You're consistent. You put in 1 drop every day. You're just going to have a big crusty funnel. It's not going to make it through. You don't have enough velocity. You don't have enough weight. You don't have enough volume in order to be able to turn it into a good result. What do you need to do in order for this to work? You need to fill the funnel with honey. And if you fill the funnel with honey, you pour it into the top, it will come through and it'll go through to the bottom. So in this example that we're going to do together, I will give you a challenge now from this moment forward for the rest of the year, the next 12 months. You should always have a minimum of 100 conversations happening at any moment in time. 100, always. 100. And just normal conversation. You don't forget you have a business, forget you have a product. You're just going to start 100 conversations and keep 100 conversations going back and forth, back and forth. That's all you're going to do. And if you do that, I promise, really and no kidding, I promise, any day you want to recruit, you can recruit. Any day you want to be able to bring somebody new into your team, you can bring them into your team. If you want to bring in 20 people this month, no problem. You just need to have more conversations. It's really simple. When you break it down, most of you are trying to get too much out of one conversation. If you think about if we took a look at all of your businesses and said, how many people are you in conversation with right now that have an opportunity to join your business? How many actual conversations are in process right now between you and prospects? I will say the people in this room, it's probably less than 10 on an average. What if it was 100? Is it possible to do that? I'm going to prove to you today that it is possible. Will it be good for your business? 100%. Now, what I want you to pay attention to as we do this exercise together, I want you to think about how you can systemize this to be able to help other people on your team get more activity going. And I'll share this with you up front. I had one of my students that I taught to do this. He had a big team, huge team. And I said, listen, I want you. He said, what do I have to do in order to really create massive momentum? I said, you need to do a conversation challenge with every single group on your team. So you know what he did? He went every little small town. He'd get together, go to somebody's house. They'd bring all their friends over, all the distributors over. They'd spend 3 hours doing a little conversation evening together. And they'd fill up the entire month with appointments and activity, just in a couple hours. Then you go to the next town, you do the next, you go to the next, do the next, go to the next, do the next. He did that to triple his business in 24 months. Triple from a huge group. Tripled his business in 24 months. Just from this one simple strategy. I want you to think about every person on your team. What if they had 100 conversations going on right now? If you could wave a magic wand and every person on your team had 100 conversations going on. Oh, you have 10 people on your team, that's 1,000. You have 100 people on your team, it's 10,000? 1,000 people on your team, it's 100,000 conversations. How many of those can turn into appointments? How many of those can turn into business builders? How many of those can turn into customers? Huge. So we're lacking in quantity. We need to get the doors of our business open. And a conversation is just the doors being open. Okay? So here's what you need to do. Yeah, I know I need to start the conversation challenge. I know. But I got to lay these points. See, they're giving me points to be able to move faster. So here's what all you need, and everybody in your team, people need to be willing, hungry, and coachable. Willing, coachable, hungry. Yeah? That's what I'm going to ask you to do. So, here's what we're going to do. And leave my mic on when we do it. We're going to put 30 minutes up on the clock. And we're just going to start. And I'm going to walk around if I can. Give me something if I need a handheld to walk around, and we'll turn this off. But here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab your phone and just start. Most conversations today are not over the phone. They're with SMS, text message, direct messages on whatever app you have, whatever social media platform that you have. And some people are like, well, what should I say? Don't worry about that. What would you say to anybody that you have in your phone? Start with hello. You could just say hello. If you don't know what to say, just say hi. To as many people as you can. We're going to take 30 minutes, and I want to test you, and I want to see who can start the most conversations. And all we're going to do is you're going to start your piece. Think about like you're playing tennis. You hit the ball over. You say hello. Somebody responds. Hi, how are you? I'm very good, thank you. How's your family? Oh, my family is great. It's cold here in Korea. You know, is it cold where you are? You know, yeah, it's pretty cold here too. Are you excited about the new year? Yeah, the new year's going to be great. What do you have planned? How's work? Well, you know, work's pretty good. And, you know, should be an interesting year. You still love what you do? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Don't worry about achieving anything. Don't worry about an agenda. An opening will present itself. You're just going to start it today. So I want you to pretend like I'm paying you $1,000 for every single conversation you start. Okay? If that really happened, how many would you start in 30 minutes? You can't do group, no group texts. Those don't count. Individual, okay? So you ready? Do you have your phone? Ready, set, go. Start the clock, and we're gonna go. Check, check, check. And I'm gonna walk you around. We good? I don't need it for now. So we're gonna have a little competition. You watch the young people at the table. Watch how fast that they type. Don't get hung up on who you're gonna send it to. Literally go on your phone. You can start with A and go through every single person you have in your phone and just say hi. Hello, how are you? How's your life? I miss you. I hope you're well. How many conversations do you think you can start in 30 minutes? Pretend you're getting paid $1,000 for every one that you start. And as you're even going through your phone, if you're scrolling past somebody for some reason, go back and send a message to them. You have some negative people in your phone, send them a message too. Hey, I'm just checking in to see if you're still negative. I don't know if you really truly understand how important this simple little task is and what it's going to do for your business when you leave here to achieve your goals. It's huge. It's huge. What would happen if you personally recruit another 50 people this year? What if you can use this strategy to help everybody in your team recruit 10 this year? Don't prejudge anybody. If they're not a distributor, send them a message. Just say hi. And after your phone, go on social media, everybody you're friends with, say hi to them. Send them a DM. And you can make it personal if you want. If you want to really go fast, type one message that kind of generally applies to everybody, and then just copy and paste. Be careful copy pasting inside of social media platforms. Because they'll block you if you copy and paste inside of social media platforms the same message over and over. But with your SMS and messages, you can copy and paste really easy. Just hello, 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 hello. How are you? What's new? What's going on? How many people have at least 10 that they've sent out so far? Raise your hands if you have at least 10. If you don't have 10, come on. Get those thumbs working. You can't tell me you don't know people. And you don't need to get too fancy. It's about quantity. It's not about quality. Just start. You got to hit the ball over the net. Just start. We've been going 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Think about how many you've done in the first 5 minutes. That'll give you kind of an example of what's possible. Don't prejudge. Don't go, oh, that one's a good one. Oh, that one's not so good. Send to everybody. Say hello. And I'll even give you permission to talk to somebody who are distributors on your team. All business is conversation with them too. Because if you're in conversation with that person and they've not been as active as they could be, and your conversation would get them more active, that'll be good for your business, yes? Don't prejudge, just that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. Hit them all. Quantity, 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 quantity. Some of you are going to get phone calls pretty soon. Is everything okay? Why did I get this random message from you? It's a long message, man. It's so long. Keep going. Don't scroll. Just get them all. That one, 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 that one. Every single one. Just hit the next one. Let me pick one. Go send a message to that person. Oops, sorry. Send a message to that person. Go ahead. Send them a message. But don't group message. Individual, individual. Some are getting phone calls. Are you okay? Somebody kidnap you or something? You got 10 already. Look at you. See? And if you can, make a little list. You don't need to worry about making it. It's just, it would be nice if you make a list. If you don't, it's fine, because you already kind of have a list inside of your phone, inside of the apps. It'll take care of you. Like, how do you track these? You're gonna put out all these conversations, and then some are gonna respond. Those are the ones that you respond back. Does it sound overly basic, overly simple? It's like stupid simple, right? You're gonna be surprised what we're doing. We've been going 8 minutes. How many have you done so far in 8 minutes? What's 8 times 60? 480 seconds. Right? Yeah. 480 seconds. How many have at least 10 that you've sent out so far? At least 10. Raise your hands if you have at least 10. Good, good, good. That means one about every, what? 30 seconds or something? Don't be picky. Everybody, 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 everybody. Like you're getting $1,000 per conversation that you start. Everybody. Don't prejudge and don't respond right now. If people are responding back to you, you have plenty of time to respond to them. Right now, it's how many can you do in the next 10 minutes and 46 seconds. Don't respond. Right now, you're just starting. You're starting. You can respond later. Don't get stuck in one conversation when you can have 100. See, I want to push you. You have 20 minutes and 20 seconds. I want to push you to see if you can do 100 in the total of this 30 minutes. That's the challenge. Can you do 100? That means one every 20 seconds or so for the full 30 minutes. So you got to go. Copy, paste, go, 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 go. Every one of you should try and shoot for 100. Can you get 100? If you take pictures, you're not going to get 100. Come on. Go, 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 go. You're losing money. $19 minutes, 40 seconds. Shoot for 100, shoot for 100. Who in this room already has at least 30? Raise your hands if you have at least 30. 1, 2, look, a bunch of you. See what's possible? Those people are on pace for 100. 19 minutes. Don't get hung up. Don't let your limiting beliefs kick in. Don't start prejudging, saying this person wouldn't be interested, or I don't want this person on my team anyway. Just say hello. Look at Vietnam. Vietnam's very focused. Love it. $18 minutes, 40 seconds. You've just been going for about a little less than 12 minutes. How many have started more conversations in the last 12 minutes than maybe you've done in the last 12 days or the last 12 weeks? Keep going. Don't prejudge. Just hit them. $17 minutes, 44 seconds. Say, Umbi, who are the people that are coming to Vegas from this market? Umbi, who are the people that are coming to Vegas from this market? Who? I mean, what do they have to do? They go to honors. They have to go to honors and get qualified, and then qualify to honors, go to LA, and then get to Vegas. Premier League before November. Okay. So it's going to be at my house. There's a special party at my house in Las Vegas. You have a question? What? You need help? He's going to Vegas? Great. Cool. See me? Huh? Just keep this. Go right from here to the pivot afterwards. 16 minutes. You've only been doing this 14 minutes. Think about how many 14-minute periods of time you've wasted in the last month versus super, super focused, right? This is super focused. This is the highest income producing activity you could do, is being in conversation with a prospect. Nothing higher. This is the highest. This is a muscle that you need to learn how to flex personally, and you need how to teach people how to flex within your organization. We're halfway through. Does anybody have 50 so far? If you have 50, raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 have 50. Can you grab me one of those interpreter things? Headset deal? Excuse me. How do I put it on? Put it on my ear. Okay. We got 14 minutes. Does anybody have a question? Any question at all? As we're going through this? Anybody? Any questions? I'm happy to answer them. Feel stuck for any reason? No? Everybody's focused, man. Everybody's head down. $13.45. It's a race. How many can you get? Don't get stuck in responding too much. More conversations, quantity, quantity, quantity. And over time, you can play with this. You can send somebody an emoji if you want. You can send them a meme if you want. You can send them anything. You send somebody a fire emoji, and that's all you sent, they're going to wonder, what the heck? $12:30. Been going 17:30 is all. 17 minutes. This is kind of an example of what you can do. Think about if you did this once a day. You just took 15 minutes and started as many conversations as possible. Just once a day. What if every time you were in the bathroom, instead of scrolling through all of social, you just started a whole bunch of conversations? Might be more productive. Some of you might be thinking, well, this is so basic, you know? Do we really need to spend time with this? Answer, yes. This is at the foundation of everything that we do. How you doing? How many you got? $11 minutes left. I wonder who's going to have the most out of this room. Anybody want that title? Who's going to get the most? Yep. Yeah, that's fine. 10 minutes left. It's a race. It's a race. How's it going? Good? Good? She's fast. She can type fast. Keep going. You have unlimited people to talk to. Think about all your friends on social, every single one. Everybody in your phone, everybody in your email, even friends of friends, doesn't matter. You can say hi. Keep banging them out. If you do this right, this half an hour can turn into 10 to 20 recruits, easy. This half hour, these conversations. Eight minutes. That's good music. It's like countdown music. $7:30. Everybody's super focused. I wonder which country's going to have the most conversations. Per capita. I don't know. I think Australia's looking strong. They're very focused. Singapore, come on. You're not even on your phones. What the heck, man? I see you. I see you. Uh-huh. I see you. No giggling. Pull your phones out. Let's go. Cambodia's locked in. They're focused. Taiwan, killing it. Indonesia, crushing. Vietnam, lasered in. Awesome. 6 minutes. We're coming up on the end. How many can you do in the last 6 minutes? Forget being perfect. Just quantity, quantity, quantity. How many can you hit? Pretend you're getting paid $1,000 per person. Go, 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 go. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Five minutes. The final 5. Hit as many as possible. Umbi, how many do we have in all the locations? About 4,000 or so? Be interesting to see what our averages are for 4,000 times 4,000. Is there? Yeah. Got it. One way or another, about 4,000 people. Part of this whole, at least one day experience. And for those qualified for day 2, you're in for such a treat. We're gonna just smash tomorrow. Give you all the secrets. 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Head to the finish line. Close strong. Three minutes. Keep going. Close strong. Two minutes. Get a few more. We're in the business of just do a little bit more. While some people at your table are done, don't be one of them. Keep going. One minute. See if you can get 3 or 4 more in the next 60 seconds. 15 seconds. Can you get one more in 15 seconds? Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. All right. Do me a favor. Give yourselves a big round of applause. And if you can bring up all the people in the different markets on... Congratulations to all of you. Here's what I'd like you to do in every market. And here, everybody please stand up. Everybody please stand up. Come on up. I know they're translating. Everybody stand up. Okay. Now I want you to approximate, all right? Everybody please stand up. Come on up, come on up, come on up. You don't have to be exact, okay? But I want you to approximate. If you've done less than 10 conversations, sit down. Everybody else remain standing. We lose anybody? Less than 10, sit down. Okay? Less than 20, sit down. Everybody else remain standing. Okay? Now, for those at less than 20, I don't want to shame you, but I do want you to be thinking about why. In 30 minutes was less than 20. There's either a gap in your networking, that you need to network to have some fresh people in your phone, or in your belief system about what you can, conversations you can have. These are normal conversations. Remember, there's no business, no product. There's just normal conversations. Okay? This should not be a difficult assignment. Less than 30, sit down, everybody else remain standing. Less than 30 approximately. Estimate. Less than 40, go ahead and sit down. Everybody else remain standing. Less than 50, go ahead and sit down. Everybody else remain standing. Less than 60. Less than 60, how are we doing? Less than 70. Less than 80. Wow, well done. In 30 minutes. Less than 90. How we doing? How we doing? We still got them standing. Look at Cambodia. Most of the room standing. Less than 100. If you're close to 100, you probably just kept going, right? 100? How many have more than 100? Stay standing. More than 110? Stay standing. More than 120? More than 130? More than 140? This is just an example of what's possible. Look at these people. 140? How many did you get? Does anybody know? 146 right here. How about you? About how many? Did you hear? How many? How many of you? 178. Oh, thank you for the translation. Who else back there? Who has more than 178? Anybody? How many? 200? 200? Fantastic. If she could do it, is it possible? Is it possible? If you did 200 conversations and you became a Founders Club member, would you have done 200 conversations if they would have just made you a Founders Club? You would have done it. You just have to figure out a way to do it, right? Same thing true in all these different markets. Congratulations to all of you. I'm going to say the average here in this room is around 50 or so. 50 in 30 minutes. Would you say that that's fair based upon what you looked at? So what's 4,000 times 50? Somebody give me the number. Is that 200,000? That's 200,000 conversations we just started in 30 minutes. 200,000. Now, what is our job? Keep the conversation going. Keep it normal. Don't be weird. Be a nice person. Back and forth. Ask questions about them. find out what's going on in their life, build some rapport, and at some point there's going to be an opening. You can transition to the product if there's a product that will help them with something that's going on in their life, or you can transition to the business, right? But just understand, all business is conversation. All of it is conversation. So I want you to think about something. Now, think about this. What if every single one of your teams, you had a really quick 1-hour conversation challenge to start every month for the year of 2025? You got a little group of people together in their home, and they all did it together and had a little competition, right? And all of them started these conversations. To start the month, how many more presentations? How many more customers? How many more distributors are going to happen as a result of this? You just need to increase quantity. So I want you to think about how could you systemize this? So now you've experienced it, and you're going to see your phone's going to be blowing up all weekend. Bzz, 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 bzz. Like, what's happening? Well, all those people are getting back to you. Your job is just keep it going. You don't need to recruit them right away. Keep it going. There's plenty of time. You'll be able to get them. Be a normal human being. Just keep the conversation going. Look for the transition point, right? Where you can transition to product or opportunity. Look for a way to invite them to understand more of what you have. Your ultimate job is to start conversations and then to educate that person about what you have in terms of product or business. It's really that simple. You can invite them to a tool, you can invite them to an event, you can invite them to a club, you can invite them to try something, you can invite them to become a product user to get a result. A million things that you can invite them to. But the key is starting the conversations, getting all those fresh tubes of toothpaste out there that have unlimited fresh people to talk to, and their prospects are unlimited. And what are you teaching somebody when you're starting a conversation with them? When you join my business, guess what? You just have to start conversations, and I'll be here to help you. Okay? So I want you to think about how can you turn this into a system where it's a repeatable habit within your organization. How can you do that? How can you turn it into a system? Okay? So I want you to think about, okay, this is like, seems very, very, very basic. But I will tell you, the very, very basic things are very, very powerful, so long as it's the right basic thing. So think about every market that you have, every leader that you have, every supervisor that you have. How can you implement this so they do it once a month consistently? Because if your team just did 30 minutes every month, that's all they did, 30 minutes every month, they would book out the whole rest of the month. If you do it at the beginning of the month, it's the best time. The second best time is whenever you can get them to do it. Okay? All right. I want to share something with you. When I started in network marketing, I'm going to give you the formula if you want to become world class. Okay? When I started in network marketing, I barely got out of high school. I had 18 jobs by the time I was 23 years old. I was nobody's prize. I was a minimum wage person through all of those 18 jobs. And I joined network marketing, and I put myself on a path that I became world class at building a network marketing business. You could take everything I have away from me, and I could quickly have it back again because I developed the skills. I became the person. I taught myself how to become, and I learned from others, how to become a valuable person in the marketplace. And I could teach you how to become a valuable person no matter what level you're starting at, no matter how many times you failed before, if you're totally in rebuild mode with your team, if you're plateaued or you flattened out, if you're in decline, I can show you how to become world class. This is the path to excellence. What you're trying to do is you're trying to increase, let's say you set your goals. Here's my income goal. Here's my PIN level goal. Here's my Premier League goals that we talked about, those intentions, those commitments. In order to be able to achieve those goals, you need to be able to develop a stronger mindset. Can I see that? So I see where it is? There it is. A stronger mindset. You need to learn how to think better, stronger, you need to get rid of limiting beliefs. You need to replace them with empowering beliefs. You need to develop strong habits. You need to learn how to think like an entrepreneur, not an employee. You need to develop $1 million mindset. Second, you need a skill set. When you become more skilled, you'll have more confidence. When you have more confidence, you'll take more action. When you take more action, you're going to get more results. So skills are always wildly important. 3, you need to develop the strategy. Strategy. The strategy that will get you the best results with the least amount of effort. What's the most efficient way to be able to build a business? Mindset, skill set, strategy. Then you need to develop leadership. How to lead yourself, how to lead your team. And then ultimately, you need to lead leaders. How do you find leaders? How do you mentor leaders? How do you help them get to another level of growth? So mindset, skill set, strategy, leadership, and how to lead leaders. So when I was 23 years old, I sat down with one of my early mentors. His name was Bill Mills. And he was very successful. He always had a lot of time. He was always very kind. And I said, Bill, how do I change my life? Tell me. And he said to me, he said, Eric, can you get 0.3% better per day? Can you get 0.3% better per day? And I was like, yeah, that wouldn't be that hard. 0.3% better at your mindset. 0.3% better at your skills. 0.3% better at strategy or at leadership. Can you get 0.3% better? I said, yes, but that doesn't seem like a lot. He said, Eric, in 1 year, that's 100%. I said, but yeah, minimum wage. So I go from $5 an hour to $10 an hour. That's not that exciting. He said, you have to be patient because in year 2, it's 200%. In year 3, it's 400%. In year 4, it's 800%. In year 5, it's 1,600%. In year 6, it's 3,200%. In year 7, it's 6,400% on you. Okay. So if you take that, and I started at $5 an hour, it would be $10 an hour, $20 an hour, $40 an hour, $80 an hour, $160 an hour, $320 an hour, $640 an hour. Okay, I started at 23 and I started doing this. And guess what? By the time I was 30 years old, I made $980,000 when I was 29 in this profession. How? How? I did this. I applied this to mindset, skill set, strategy, leadership, and how to lead leaders. This changed my whole life, okay? And I'm going to give you a basic flow and a formula of what worked for me and how you can do it yourself. I don't care where you're starting. I don't care how many times you failed. I don't care how many times you had to rebuild. It doesn't matter. Step 1 is to raise your awareness. You need to raise your awareness about your mindset. What are your limiting beliefs that you need to challenge? You need to raise your awareness about the skills that you still have to develop. Raise your awareness about the strategy or about leadership or about leading leaders. Raise your awareness because if you can't see it, you can't fix it. So you got to understand what are your biggest holes in your business? What are your biggest challenges in your business? Like one of the biggest ones for me is I was blaming other people all the time for my lack of progress. Until a mentor said, until you stop blaming, you're never going to succeed, Eric. You have to refuse to blame. Like, really? This is a problem? Yes. It's putting a lid on how much you're going to make. Until you take responsibility for how you react to every circumstance, every situation, there's only so far you're going to go. If you're going to blame everybody else for your lack of success, you're going to blame other people or other things for your lack of progress. And he changed my awareness. I went, oh, this is a problem. Because I was a professional blamer. I could convince anybody that it wasn't my fault. I was so good. But it wasn't helping me be good and convincing them that it wasn't my fault. What was better is to say, I'm the problem. I had to change my awareness about blame versus responsibility if I was going to change my life. So awareness was step one. This is a problem for me. Or a bad habit. I'm late all the time, late all the time, late all the time. How much business do you think that cost me to be late all the time versus being early all the time? I was always 10 minutes late so I could be 10 minutes early. It was just literally a rebellious decision. And it cost me business. So I became aware of it and I changed it. So awareness is the first step. And then 3 words. Those 3 words are plan, do, review. Those 3 words. Let's say you want to become a great presenter. You want to become great up on stage. Be able to rock the stage, be able to influence people with your words. Okay? You use these 3 words. You raise your awareness. I need to change this. The person with the marker makes the money. All right, I need to change this. I need to become a great presenter because take a look at all the big earners. Most of them are really great presenters. So I need to change that. Here's what you do. You make a plan on doing a presentation. You go do the presentation, and then you review the results. You make a plan, you do, you review. And then what do you do with the review? You make a better plan. And then you do it again, and then you review it. And then you make a better plan, and then you do it, and then you review it. And what are you doing? Every time you go plan, do, review, again, plan, do, review, again. You're doing this. You're just leaning on it. You're polishing it. You're getting it better. Right? I'm going to make a plan. I'm going to do it. I'm going to review it. And I'm just going to keep doing that over and over and over and over and over and over until I'm world class. And you can't stop me. Some people, they only want to do things when they're sure they're going to succeed. They never want to put themselves at risk of being embarrassed. And I found out that that's a huge, huge mistake in our business. What's a better teacher, success or failure? What do you think? How many think it's failure is a better teacher? Yes, we all agree, but none of us want to do it. None of us want to fail. We don't want to be embarrassed. We don't want to be humiliated. We don't want to look stupid. Even though it's the best teacher in the world, success is a terrible teacher. Failure is an amazing teacher. So I learned to fall in love with failing. That I'd rather do it before I was ready and learn from the experience than wait till I was perfect and then only do it when I'm perfect. Let's say you want to learn how to dance. Okay? You want to learn how to dance. And you go watch all the YouTube videos on how to dance. And you read all the books about the great dancers of the world. And you watch all the dancing movies. Right? And you get a dancing coach. The dancing coach says, and you come to the coach and says, here's what I've studied, here's all the videos I've watched, here's all the books I've read, here's all of my goals around dancing. What's the coach going to say? Dance. Show me. Show me. Well, I'm not ready to dance. I've never danced before. You have to start. I cannot help you until you dance. Once I see you dance, okay, now we need to move your arm here. We need to change your legs there. We need you to hold your posture a little different. All right, now do it again. Now again. Now again. Now again. Let's plan what you're going to do in this next dance. You do it. Let me see. Let me give you feedback. Review it. Now do it again. Reps. Repetition. 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 How do you become a great dancer? 1,000 repetitions. How do you become a good piano player? Repetition, repetition, practice, practice, practice. You can't do it by just study. So make a plan, do it, review it. Or if you don't have enough knowledge to make a plan, Let your mentor tell you what to do. Start there. That's what I did. I asked my mentors, what should I do? They say, do this. Okay, I'll do it. Do, review, then I make a better plan. Do it, review it, then I make a better plan. You understand? This process changed my whole life. I never forget. I was taught this, raise my awareness on an issue that I needed to fix, and apply, plan, do, review to it. Okay? And I was sitting in an event just like this, and I went, wait a minute. Nobody can stop me from becoming amazing. Nobody can. I'm going to become world class at this. Like one of the best ever to do it. And nobody can stop me because I realize that there's no good experiences and no bad experience in building your business, only learning experiences. And you could shoot me down, you could criticize me, you could reject me, I could fail, I could be humiliated. But guess what? I'll come back tomorrow and I'll learn from it. So if you try and shut me down, guess what? It only makes me stronger. You can't beat me. If I win, fantastic. If I lose, fantastic. It doesn't matter. What matters is, do I get better? What matters for you is, are you going to get better? Okay? Pick any skill. Getting customers. Maximizing your nutrition club. How do you keep more people in your business for longer? Whatever. Retention. Strategies, any system, anything. You can take every system, put it through this machine, plan, do, review, and you'll have a better system next month, the month after, the month after, the month after. What most of you are doing is do. You got to get better. You can't just keep doing things and hoping for things to change. Keep doing the same thing. You got to guess what success is? It's 1,001% things. It's not any big thing. It's 1,000 little things. It's the way you say something. It's a sparkle in your eye. It's a smile on your face. It's your posture when you walk in the room. Do you brighten the room or do you dim the room? Are you looking people in the eye? Do you give them a good, strong handshake? Are you passing your belief to them? Or are you hiding? I used to dim the room. Dim the room. Literally. One of my mentors, I was sitting at lunch with him because I'm a very introverted person and I get in my head. And when I get in my head, my energy gets all dark. I don't know if any of you, that's you, but that used to be me. It still is sometimes. But I've learned to guard against it. We were at a lunch, me and my mentor, with a prospect. And I was thinking about strategy during the whole lunch. And he kicked me under the table. And he's like, looked at me weird. I'm like, what? I'll tell you later. What is the problem? So afterwards he said, Eric, you have to stop doing that. What are you talking about? I was just thinking. He said, no, you were not there. And if you're not going to be there, I can't have you at a lunch in front of a prospect. You need to show up. You need to brighten, put your eyes, make eye contact. You need to put a smile on your face. You need to have good posture. You need to have some good energy, some intensity. Otherwise, you can't come to the next meeting with me. I'm like, really? I had no idea I was doing it. He said, yes. I said, okay, kick me every time I do that. Next meeting, I get in my head, he kicks me, I show up, hello, I'm back at lunch. That's what happened to me, right? So being aware that I was dimming the room instead of brightening the room, I was disconnected from people. Like if somebody has a habit, they're meeting with a prospect and they're looking at their phone all the time. What do you think that does to a prospect? Every time you look at your phone, it tells the prospect that they're less important than what's on the phone. Now, compound that every time you're in front of a prospect. You want to keep doing that? You want to keep living with those results? Or do you want to turn the phone upside down when you're with a prospect? Because that's money time. Do you want to give them the respect of focus? Or do you want to let them know that you don't respect them? Little things. You add those all up, it changes everything. So plan, do, review changed my whole life. I would make a plan, do it, review it. Anything I want to become great at. I use these 3 words I raise my awareness. I use these 3 words because coming out the other side is excellence. That's what comes out the other side, excellence. You want to become great? I don't care where you're starting. I don't care how bad it is. Excellence. So underneath all this, I'm going to give you 2 other things. One is accountability. Accountability. And I learned that I was terrible at holding myself accountable, so I needed to have friends and family and situations that would force me to continue to do my plan, do, review in order to become great. I'm terrible at it. Like, if I'm left to myself and doing workouts without a trainer, I'm not going to work out the same, and I'm not going to work out as consistently, right? I have to create accountability for me to do what I'm supposed to do in building my business. So I need somebody to be a workout partner and push me. I need somebody, like inside of here, what we want this to be is accountability for you, to be in a peer group. So you step into the highest level of potential for yourself, and I want you to make yourself accountable to others. You know, one of the best ways to hold yourself accountable? Go to your team and tell them what you're going to do in 2025. And if you don't do it, it's okay for them to quit. Go ahead. Now, guess what? You have to do it. Or you're a big phony. That's accountability. Watch me. Force me to do what I'm capable of doing, and I'll force you to do what you're capable of doing. We'll do it together. Accountability. And then the other thing on the top side that makes this really work is coaches, mentors, and masterminds. Coaches, mentors, and mastermind. That's what will give you good ideas to make this plan, do, review really work. If you have a coach and you do something and you review it and you say, Coach, I did this, here's the results I got. They say, okay, try this to make a better plan. Then do it, review it, try this to make a better plan. Do it, review it. So coaches and mentors and masterminds will feed this process. They'll also tell you what you should be aware of, where your holes are. They'll tell you how to make a better plan, how to do it, how to review it. And then accountability. Sometimes both of these can be the same thing. Sometimes you just need to force yourself to be accountable. Like my fitness journey with Stefan, like a year ago, like 13 months ago. I was like, hey man, I'm gonna really show up. And the president of the UFC, his name is Dana White. He's a friend. And I told Dana, and Dana got in really great shape. I said, hey, I'm going to get in really great shape because I want to show up at this honors event in March in better shape. And Dana said, all right, let's bet on it. Let's put a bet on it, so you have to do it. He said, I want you to do it. I don't want to win the bet, but let's place a bet. So I sent that to Stefan, the phone conversation, the voice note that I got from Dana, and Stefan said, all right, I want in on that bet too. He said, I want you to represent the brand. Okay. So those two holding me accountable helped me. You all, without even knowing it, helped me to deal with my physical lack of awareness. Yeah. Without even knowing it, you helped me. Right? Because I can't be Mr. Fat Guy up on stage talking to you about how to be more successful. That doesn't make sense. I need to be stronger now, right? And I'm going to be. I'm in my last 60 days before honors. I'm going to show up, I promise. I'm going to be in great shape. But if you create accountability structures, coaches, mentors, and masterminds, and you get on this plan, do, review cycle, nothing is impossible for you. You might have failed before. You might have struggled before. You might have disappointments. Maybe your disappointments are something that you need to raise your awareness about. Maybe you need to change your mind about the journey that you've gone through. Maybe you need to change the meaning that you put to parts of your journey, because the meaning might create some limiting belief. Maybe there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. You have the ability to go where you need to go. You need to learn to discipline your disappointment, number one. You need to change your relationship with failure, number two. You know how many times I've had to rebuild my team over the course of my entire network marketing career? You know how many times? So many times. I was willing to do it, other people weren't. Other people were like, no, I don't want to do it again. I already did it once. Well, guess what I learned? The great people in network marketing, they did it again and again and again and again. And I learned not to have this idea of build it once, have it for forever. I wanted to become world class. And guess what world class people do? They build when it's not convenient. They build when they got disappointed by their team. They build when there's adversity in their face. They build when they're the only person on their team believing in the future. They stretch their vision. They stretch their goals. They go after it. Yeah, you can clap if you're ready to go after it. You ready to go after it? I hope you are. There you go. So it might sound weird for me to say this page changed my whole life, but it's true. I had 18 jobs before I started. I was a 1.8 GPA student in high school, the bottom 20% of students in my high school. Okay? I had 18 jobs, minimum wage. I decided that these things were important to achieve my goals. I was going to use this in order to be able to improve every single day. I was going to raise awareness, and I was going to attack every one of my weaknesses, one by one by one by one. And I turned every weakness into a strength. If you want to become great at presenting, for example, and we have two people. One is going to prepare for 90 days and do their first presentation 90 days from now. And another person, they're going to go do 100 presentations in the next 90 days. Okay? Who's going to win? The one that prepares and does a presentation in 90 days, or the one that does 100 presentations and then does another presentation in 90 days? Who's going to do better? This one. But you have to be willing to deal with being judged and being embarrassed and being humiliated and not being perfect, and just deal with it. Put a smile on your face. Don't treat yourself so serious. The learning is in the doing. The learning is in the failing. The learning is in the having to do it over again. This one piece of paper, you can use this to accomplish every single goal you have in Herbalife. And there's nobody and nothing that can stop you. Okay? You ready to go? All right. So that's it for me for right now. We're going to bring back up Stefan. Stefan, come on back up. Give him a big round of applause, everybody.
Okay. By the way, how many of you, it's like you already got so much today, you're like, I'm ready to go to work? Yeah? But how many of you are like, no, give me some more, I'll take some more. It's been an amazing day so far. And we're at the last part of the day. We have one more framework that we want to teach you, and then we're going to give you, because some of you are on Zoom today, and you're going to be afterwards not participating tomorrow. So we want to tell you how the rest of the mastermind is going to work and set things up. And then tomorrow, like Eric said, we have a very special day. Tomorrow we're going to go into a lot more of questions and answers and working with individual situations to give a lot more coaching. But before we end up today, there's one thing that I want to share with you, and this is a framework that I learned probably about, I want to say like 7 or 8 years ago. And I learned it, someone was creating a little bit of a mastermind on a weekend, and this individual was someone that I had met through another mastermind, actually, funny enough. And when he shared this framework, for me it was like, oh my gosh, this is why Herbalife is so powerful, because Herbalife creates this framework and all of these elements are there, and that's one of the reasons why, just when I saw it, I was like, that's why people are successful in Herbalife. And so I want to share this framework with you, and you know, it's interesting, but if you start to think about what we started to discuss this morning, and you know, we've been talking about all of these different elements, it's like things are coming together. I don't know if you notice, but even with what Eric was sharing about, you know, the mindset, the skill set, the strategy, the leadership, like this is what the mastermind is all about. How many of you, the awareness, how many of you today, you're getting awareness about some things that already it's making a difference for you. You're seeing things differently because of the conversation. You're seeing things differently because you're in this environment and we're having these conversations. So the mastermind is a game-changing opportunity for us. Something is different today than it's been for all of the history of time, and it's something that never existed before. So we're super excited about this, but this framework that I want to share with you is a framework, and it's called the logical levels of change. Some of you might have heard this. I've shared it, you know, in some maybe different leadership events at different times. But again, this is something that when I was presented this, it was just like, this makes so much sense. And what this is a framework for anything that you want to change and improve in your life. The same way we kind of looked at earlier, your physical, your intelligence, your financial, your results. This is just a very powerful framework. And it's in the shape of a triangle. And there's different levels to this. And we're going to go through all of the different levels. And it's not like they're sequential, like one has to go first and the next and the next and the next and the next. Actually, every single different level is a different aspect, and it can all make a difference. It can all help to bring change. It can all help to produce results. But there is this foundation, which is at the very bottom, and this is called environment. And if you want to change something in your life, something about yourself, to produce some type of result, what's very important is to understand that by changing your environment, it's one of the fundamental ways of going about making a change. And I'll give you an example. So environment, very simple, it's who you're around. Okay, so Eric talks about accountability, right? He talks about coaches, mentors, and masterminds. This event that we're having here, not just an event, this is the kickoff to a mastermind group that will be together, and you will be with accountability groups and peer groups together along your journey to go and become who you want to become and achieve what you want to achieve. Okay, so your environment, it's the people that you're around, right? It's where you are. We are together. Every single country in APAC right now, there is a room like this. All right, these are Premier League qualifiers, TAB team members, charter pioneers that are all together, the most successful, committed, working, dynamic leaders all together. It's a very, very powerful thing. I don't know if in Korea, for example, you've ever started off a January of a year with this type of group, with this level of qualification, with this level of structure. So is there a reason why in Korea, in Vietnam, in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in Thailand, in Cambodia, is there a reason why this wouldn't be your best year ever? When you're starting off this year, the leadership together with a structure like this in an environment together. Clearly, this is different than every other year that you've ever had. So the environment that you put yourself in, right, is very important. Who you're with. Eric spoke about it. If he doesn't have his personal trainer, right, he's not going to get the same results. The who in the personal trainer is very important. If he doesn't go to the gym, or in Eric's case, if he doesn't have a whole gym in his house, okay, with everything, so he doesn't have to go anywhere, right? If he had to get in the car and go to the gym, he probably wouldn't make it as often to the gym. But when the gym is in your house, you just go across the room to your house and you're in your gym, right? When the trainer comes to him, he doesn't have a choice. Because if the trainer shows up at his house and he's like, Eric, let's go to the gym, the trainer's at the house. What's Eric going to say? No, I don't feel like it today. He's going to go to the gym. Okay, so environment, very important. So the who, the where, the when, external factors or constraints, your environment and how you think about it and where you put yourself is very important. Now, you take each and every one of us and you take us out of the Herbalife environment. If I never would have come to the HOM, if I never would have seen and met Herbalife, where would I be today in my life? I can't know where I would have been, but I can probably guess that I wouldn't have had the experiences, that financially I wouldn't have had the results, that just overall my life would look very different. So my life before Herbalife or in Herbalife is two entirely different lives. The question for each and every one of you is, where do you need to be to become and to be the 20K President Team member in 2026, to be the Chairman's Club member in the future? And so as you start to think about this, part of leadership is making the choice that you will always be where a leader needs to be. And the way that I look at that is that if you are qualified to be somewhere, you will be there. It's not a choice, do I go, don't I go, do I have the money, don't I have the money. So we have the honors, which is coming up in Los Angeles. As a leader, if you say, I will be Chairman's Club, it is not a question of whether you will be at honors if you're qualified to be at honors. It is not a question of whether you will be at extravaganza. It's not a question of whether you will be at the future president team retreat. The question is, what do you want to become and where should you be? What environment should you put yourself into? Okay? So this is important. If you want to change who you are, you want to change something about yourself, you want to achieve more, you need to put yourself in an environment with the people that can support you, right? In the places that will help you, in the moments that are important for you. And so, this is part of the situation. How many of you have never missed an extravaganza any time in your life? You've always been at extravaganza. How many of you have always been at the honors? Right? How many of you have always? That's why you are in this room. People don't have to convince you to go to extravaganza. You are going to the extravaganza, right? So the other aspect about this is that the teaching that you're getting, first comes awareness to know it, but then it's the mastering of it. So what we are teaching here, when you can teach it, now you've mastered it. Right? So some of these things, and some of the fears that people have is that they think because Eric teaches something, that it's Eric's teaching. And they feel inauthentic teaching something that Eric teaches. I didn't invent this. This is, I learned this from Jim Quick, and he learned it from someone else, who learned it from someone else, who learned it from someone else. The question is whether or not it makes a difference, and whether or not the awareness of this and the mastery of this is something that is going to make a difference. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So the first level is change your environment. You're already doing this. You couldn't be in a better environment. You just have to create a way of being that has you always choosing to be in the right environment. Okay, does that make sense for everybody? Yeah, good. All right, so the next thing is behavior. Now this one, by the way, if you get in the right environment, does your behavior change? Yeah. If Eric, all of a sudden, he has a personal trainer who's coming to his house 3 days a week, his behavior will change. He will go work out, right? If the time, the place, the when, the with who is right, it will change your behavior. So your behaviors, it's what you say and do. It's your attitude, it's your actions, it's your reactions to things. Here's the question about behaviors. Do the behaviors that you have right now, do they help you in accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish? If you want to be an athlete, if you want to, Eric wants to show up at honors, and you see him on his Instagram post, he's, taking, and in the beginning, it was like, go on Instagram, but it wasn't like I'm looking fit. It was like, okay, this is my beginning, but he put himself out there for the commitment, right? Now he can be like, hey, I'm looking good, and then everyone's like, oh my God, you look so good, you look so good, you look so good. But that wasn't the way that it was when he put himself out there the first time. Okay, so the behaviors, the question is, are the behaviors, like what behaviors do you need to become the person and have the success that you want to have? And then what are the behaviors that you're doing that are keeping you from achieving that? There's a flip side to the behaviors. And sometimes we're not the best judge of ourselves in the behaviors. Sometimes we know that our behaviors maybe are not the right ones. Sometimes we don't know which behaviors we need to take. But I can tell you that one of the things that's really, really great is using the people that you know to talk about behaviors. And so sometimes you can have a conversation with your upline, and you could say to your upline, look, I'm really committed to getting to the president team 20K, or I'm committed to becoming a 3-diamond, or I'm committed to get to the chairman's club. Are there any behaviors that you think that I'm missing? A way of being, doing things, in the way that I act, in what I say or what I don't say? Is there something missing that you think could make a difference to help me to get to the president team 20K or chairman's club? On the flip side, is there anything I'm doing that right now is not helping me? Now, you could go to your upline, and that would be a very good conversation. I'm sure your upline would be very open with you and sharing what behaviors they think would be helpful to you and what behaviors that maybe you're doing that are not helpful. Now, could you also go to your downline and you could ask the same question? You could go to your downline and say, look, I'm committed to becoming the best leader possible and being as successful as possible and achieving and accomplishing the things that I want to accomplish. Is there anything that I'm doing which you think is not helping me? Is there anything that you think that if I was doing it, it would make a difference? And your downline might say, yes, if you called me not just to know how much volume I did and how many people I'm bringing to the meeting, and you just called me to, then I would maybe feel like you cared about me instead of that I'm just a number. Like, it could be a conversation like that, okay? Not wrong or right, but just a conversation that you're having with someone. Now, you probably don't want to ask your husband or your wife, what kind of behaviors, because I'm sure that, they would have a lot of things to tell you of what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and, that's a half joke, okay? Maybe you do it with a bottle of wine or something like that. But the behaviors are really important. Which behaviors do you need to, right? Which behaviors do you need to develop? Which ones do you need to maybe not do? Okay, behaviors make a huge difference. The next thing is going to be the capabilities, right? These are the things that you need to learn. It's the how to do things, right? So for you to become a Chairman's Club member, there's going to be some things that you're going to learn and need to learn how to do that you're not doing as a GET team member or as a Millionaire team member or as a President team member. So there's some knowledge, right? There's some skills, there's some competencies that you're going to need to develop. And like Eric said, one of the best ways is actually by jumping in and doing it, okay? Remember, my first HOM, I fainted, okay? So competency, very low. I wasn't looking to be a great speaker on my second HOM. My second HOM was like, please don't faint. If I can just get through it without fainting, right? So the benchmark was quite low. So it doesn't matter where you're starting, but for all of us, there's going to be knowledge, skills, and competences that you don't have if you're going to get if you're going to want, and you want to get to the next level, and you're going to get to the next level. When the opportunity came to go from being a distributor to becoming, at the time, the Chief Strategy Officer of Herbalife, and I had never gone to university, and I never worked one day inside of a company as an employee or an executive, do you think that there was some knowledge that was missing? Do you think that there were some skills that was missing? Rob will tell you there's skills that are, even today, still skills, okay, that are missing. Was there some competences that was not there from being an Herbalife distributor for 32 years, right? Absolutely. So it doesn't matter. There will always be things that in your development are going to need to change. You're going to have to develop new skills and competencies and know-how. It's just part of what needs to take place. Here's the issue. If you're not aware of them, awareness, and if you're not working on them, then you won't develop them. So first of all, becoming aware is important. Could you go to your upline and say, look, I'm really committed to get to president team. What are the skills that you think I'm lacking right now? What are the capabilities you think I'm lacking? And you had a conversation with them. Do you think that they could help you with your awareness? Absolutely. They could say, well, you know what? You come to the meetings, but you don't like to give the presentation. Or you're good one-on-one, but you're not so good yet in a group of people. You need to develop those skills. Or a skill could be from the data. You know, you don't understand the data. You need to learn about the data. I know it's not comfortable for you. I know it's not the fun part of things. I know you like to keep things simple, but you know what? Data is really important and understanding in your organization. Okay, so again, if you look at this triangle, right, there's the environment. What do you need? Who do you need? Where do you need to be? When do you need to be there to be in the right environment to support you with what you need to do, right? There's the behaviors. Which ones do you need to develop that you don't have or you know, fine-tune? Which one of them do you need to kind of not do anymore because it's not helping you in the business, right? And then there's what are the skills and the competences? What are the things that you're going to need to develop so that you can become that person that you want to become, all right? So the capabilities. Next is beliefs and values. And so the beliefs and values, this is like a little bit starting to move. Like changing environment is easy, right? You put yourself in this meeting, you change your environment. Now you're with all of these successful people. Now you're getting all of this knowledge and information and awareness and training and great. It's easy. Now you can look at behaviors. How am I acting? You know, what do I need to do? What do I need to stop doing? What are the skills that I need to learn? So that's pretty easy. But when it comes to beliefs and values, it gets just a little bit not as clear. Because beliefs and values are things that quite honestly, a lot of times we grow up with them, and depending on our environment, we develop certain beliefs and values. And so I'll give you an example. In South America, and in possibly in some, you know, some of your markets, some people have a belief that actually money is evil. Have you ever heard anything like that before? Like a feeling that actually, and it could be just because of the environment, that the people that have money are not good people. That the people that have money, and I'll even say that, you know, some, just because of the environment that people grew up in. Now, if you are someone that wants to become successful and earn a lot of money, but you have a core belief that actually people that have money are not good people, can you see that as you're trying to grow and become successful, that even if you're making efforts, that fundamentally it goes against your beliefs and potentially your values? And so it's very hard because it's something you want, but at the same time, deep down inside, it's something that you feel is not. So have you ever heard of self-sabotage? You know what that is? Have any of you ever had this experience that you want to become successful or you want something to work, you want a relationship to work, and it's like you really want it, but for some reason, when things start to go good, something happens. And so sometimes people can, and it's a lot of times it has a lot to do with their beliefs and their values. Now, one of the great things about Herbalife, and I don't know how it was for you, but for me growing up, you know, my childhood was, you know, I had a pretty interesting childhood. I never met my mother. My mother passed away when I was 3 years old. And so I was raised by someone that was in the military. And this was who I thought my father was, because ever since I was small, this was the person that was in my life as my father. And when I was about 16 years old, I actually found out that it wasn't my father, and that my mother, she had passed when I was 3 years old, and that I didn't know who my father was. And so when I was growing up, my father was in the military, so he was very disciplined. So I grew up with a very, strong, disciplined father. And, anytime that you were not good, it was like the belt came out, and, it was like the way that it was going to be. And so I grew up in kind of this very disciplined way, but also my father was married 7 times. So it was not as bad as 7, because 3 of the times it was to the same woman. So, it wasn't 7 wives, right? 3 of the times it was to the same woman. And by the way, I always wondered, it's like if it doesn't work the first time, I understand, like, let's try again. It makes sense. Like, let's give it one more try if it doesn't work the first time. But I never understood the 3rd time. Like the first time didn't work, the 2nd time didn't work. Like the 3rd time, really? Like, do you really, have to try the 3rd time? But I'm sharing that I grew up, in kind of an interesting environment where, I didn't have a mother. I had a few stepmothers. My father, who I thought was my father, was very disciplined, very, very quick, great guy, but he was in the military. He also wasn't very present, because he basically was in the submarines and he would leave. And so I had a kind of a part-time father. He sent me to live with my grandmother, his mother, when I was 10 years old. So I had kind of this interesting childhood. And actually, funny enough, about 5 years ago, because of the DNA testing, my father did the DNA test, and I only found out actually about 5 years ago. I found out who my father was because on the DNA test, but actually I grew up not knowing really where I was from. I knew on my mother's side that she was European, French, Swedish, Irish, English. Like, I knew on that side, but I never knew my father's side. So about 5 years ago on the DNA test, my father's DNA test showed up, and I found out that I'm Chinese. My father's Chinese, 100% Chinese. Yeah, so, I'm actually half Chinese. So I'm telling this story. Yeah, very interesting, right? So I tell this story because the way that you grow up and the environment that you grow up in, it actually determines a lot of your beliefs and values. And so when I left the United States to go live in France, I was this cyclist. I had never gone to the university. I'd never worked before except for being a cyclist. When I found Herbalife, I didn't know what I was going to do. And there was a time in my life where I kind of became, when I was a teenager, where I kind of became a little bit like rebellious, and also, was like in an environment where people were doing things that were not so good. Like taking things but the point is that I came very close to being in an environment where the direction of my life might have brought me in a totally different place. And the values that I would have had would have been totally different. But luckily, I went to France and I raced bicycles. And then after a few years of racing bicycles, I found Herbalife. And so at 22 years old, I found myself in this environment, and I started to learn incredible values. I started to have beliefs. I started to listen to Jim Rohn, who was there, and to Mark Hughes, and I started to have beliefs that I never had before. And so when you put yourself in the right environment and you start to change your behaviors and you start to gain skills, and then you start to be in an environment where you have certain beliefs and values that are there, it starts to change who you are as a human being. And And so I share this with you because the beliefs and values, this is what's important to you and why. You know, this is what you hold to be true for yourself, right? This is what you think is right and wrong. And so what's important is that the values that you have here, the values that you've learned in Herbalife or that you've aligned with in Herbalife, it makes Herbalife very special. You know, I believe that the people that are here that are in this room are people that have similar values and beliefs. That you believe that if you work hard, you can accomplish anything. That you believe that it doesn't matter where you come from. You can come from anywhere, and everyone here has the opportunity to be anything that they want to be. That there's no social class. It doesn't matter whether you've come from, you know, working on the farm or whether you were a doctor. It doesn't matter. When you join Herbalife, everyone has the same value. Everyone can accomplish whatever they want to accomplish. There's no limits except for what you limit for yourself here, right? So there's certain things. Yeah, you guys can clap for that. So what are the beliefs and values that are holding you back? Are there some fundamental beliefs that you have about life in general? Are there some beliefs that you have that are helpful and some beliefs that are not helpful? You know, like Eric was sharing, he believed everything that wasn't producing a result had to do with someone else, like I shared. There was a time where my belief was I wasn't being successful because the company wasn't making the right decisions, because the chairman's club and the founder's circle were not making the right decisions. I believed that my downline, because they weren't serious, they weren't accomplishing things. That's why I wasn't, you know, having the success I wanted to have. But then once you change the belief, then what ends up happening is, funny enough, things change. Okay, so what are the beliefs that you're holding on to that are not helping you, that are stopping you? Okay, is the belief that the economy is not good, therefore it's too hard to do Herbalife? Is the belief that we're not competitive in the marketplace? Is the belief that the other MLM, you know, it's easier to do it with them? Is the belief that, you know, whatever the rules that Herbalife has, you know, are not the good rules or something like that? Like, what are the beliefs that you hold on to that are keeping you from having the success that you want to have? And then what are the beliefs that you need to create, which are the ones that are going to help you to have the success? Like, I can do anything. Like, I can find the solution, right? And so after beliefs and values, the next one is identity. Identity is, who am I? Identity is how you think and how you see yourself. So are you someone that is successful? Are you someone that can accomplish anything you put your mind to? Are you someone that never gives up? Are you someone that's here to make a difference and an impact in the world? Have you been chosen? Do you see yourself as someone that's chosen to do what you do? Okay, so how you see yourself, and this is another one. It's not as easy as the environment. You know, sometimes you need the mirror not to see physically how you are, but you need the mirror to see what is not so easy to see sometimes. And so what's interesting, if you were to go to 3 or 4 people around you and you ask, how do you perceive me? How do you see me? And then the question is, do you see yourself that way? Most of the time, do you know what happens? Is people see you differently than you see yourself. So who sees you right? Do you see yourself in the right way? Or do they see you in the right way? Interesting conversation. And so, you know, sometimes there's this aspect of a little bit of feeling maybe inauthentic. Like maybe you have the pin, you have the president team pin, and you feel like you should feel more successful. You feel like you should feel more powerful. You feel like you should feel more capable. Because everybody sees you that way. But inside, you don't feel the success. You don't feel capable. You don't feel the same way. Okay, so this is kind of inner work that along the process and the development that gets done. That eventually who you are, and that's part of the work that Eric was doing, like I am a president team member. Not I hope one day with a lot of work I might get there and that would be great. That's very different, okay? So I share this with you because these things, right, are things that make a difference. You can work on identity, right? By the way, if you stand in the mirror and you say, I am strong, and you were to repeat that over and over again, would it make a difference? Could it make a difference? I am strong. I am strong. I am strong, right? We've all heard of all of this, right? But there are things that do make differences. By the way, how many books do you think exist that talk about all of these things? One? You think one book exists? Maybe two, maybe three, maybe four. How many podcasts? How many there's a whole world that's out there, right? This is just a framework. By the way, at the top here is mission. So mission is quite interesting. It's the purpose. Like, why are you here? Like, what do you believe? What do you believe that your mission is to be here, right? On this planet, in this room, working with Herbalife, like, how many of you feel aligned that this is part of your purpose? Like part of your purpose is to be here, making a difference on the planet, helping people to have the best health and wellness possible, and helping people to find opportunity and to become whatever they want to become, and that this is part of who you are, and it's part of why you found Herbalife, and it's part of why you feel so good to be a part of Herbalife. How many of you have this sense and this feeling? Yeah, you see, this is something that's very powerful. It's something that when all of those things start to align, because it relates to the bigger picture, right? It's not just me and my recognition and my qualification and how much money I make, right? Or you and your level in the company and how much money you make and what you accomplish. But this is about the bigger picture. So outside of everything, which is all of these things that we work to accomplish, there's something when you can accomplish all of those things and it's totally aligned with a purpose, that you feel like you're in the right place and you're doing the right thing and that it's for a reason and a purpose. And so when I saw this and this framework was shared, I was just like, if you join Herbalife and you put yourself in this environment and you work on the behaviors and you develop the skills and the capabilities, right? And you create and have the right beliefs and values, right? Which is very easy to do because in this environment, it's amazing, the beliefs and values. And you become someone who is powerful and capable and you relate to yourself in that way and you're a part of this mission. I mean, what else is there, quite honestly? It's one of the reasons why when the opportunity to leave being a distributor for 32 years and to come and be a part of the company as an executive, it's one of the reasons why it was an easy decision for me. Because I know this is part of my calling. I know this is my purpose. I know that we're here as a company to make a difference in the world and in the planet. I know that, okay? So, and we are at the beginning of this journey. We are working on things in the company that will blow your mind. We are working on things that are going to put our company ahead of every other company. We are going to develop, and you're starting to see and feel all of this, but we are going to develop things and we are going to fulfill the vision that Mark Hughes had for this company. Absolutely. Okay. So, and this is the beginning, right? This mastermind, this time together. Tomorrow we're going to have and go into a day where we're going to go into a lot of individual coaching. Some of you that are on Zoom, this is going to be the end of your mastermind experience, okay? Because of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some details about how the mastermind is going to happen and what you can expect afterwards, okay? And then at the end of the day, we're going to end the day, and then tomorrow we're going to come back together and we're going to have day 2, okay? So the first thing is there's some assignments, okay? You're going to be put into accountability groups. So what the accountability group means is basically depending on whether it's going to be online or WhatsApp or Telegram or here in Korea, what is it? Kakao, okay? Here, all right? Did I say that right or wrong? Okay. You're going to be put into accountability groups. There will be between 10 and 15 people in the accountability groups. What I want to talk about is what is the reason you're in those groups. There's a few reasons why you're in the groups. You're going to be given homework, things to accomplish, things to work on. But you need to think about this group as the group that you are there to get support and you are there to give support. You need to think of this group as your team. There's an aspect to this where you want the team to win. Yes, you want to win, but you want the team to win. What does it mean for a team to win? It means that they continue in a journey with you, achieving and becoming what they want to achieve and become. Do you understand? And that your job is to support them, and their job is to support you. Because if everybody supports each other, then it's very hard to let someone fall. Does that make sense? So in the accountability groups, you want to be supportive, you want to be helpful and supportive, you want to also be strong for people. You know, if someone is not showing up, if someone's not doing the homework, you know, love on them, but also be strong with them and say, hey, let's do this. I know you can do it. Okay, so you will be put into your groups. There will be something like 200 groups that are going to get created, okay? You're going to know which groups you're put into. It's going to be in your country. It'll be, sometimes will be kind of within an organization. Sometimes will be within levels, depending on the market and the composition of things. But the company will put you into groups. When they put you into the group, you need to choose one group leader. Now this group leader, it doesn't mean it's the group leader forever. Okay, it's the first group leader. And the group leader will be communicating with the regionals or the key account managers. It's a big responsibility, but it's not a heavy responsibility. It's not going to be like a lot of work to be a group leader, but it's an opportunity to show up. So you can vote if you want. Someone can volunteer to be a group leader, but you just need to have a group leader that gets defined in the group, okay? Once the groups are set, and this is going to be in the next couple of weeks, all of you are going to know which groups you're in, okay? You have assignments that need to get done. The assignments, number one, is to finish the 100 conversations. If you got to 30, you still need to get to 100. If you got to 50, you still need to get to 100. This will be part of, right, what you need to do, and doing the assignments is important because every group, there will be individual scores because when you do the assignment, you get points. There will be team scores. So you're going to have within the group leaders based on what they're doing, and you're going to have within the country groups that are leading. And so this is a bit of gamification. It's fun, okay? But the goal is everybody in the group does all the homework and the teams do the best that they can do. Okay, so it's really kind of a fun situation. So number one, first work, finish and complete your 100 conversations. The QR code, that's where you're going to say, I did the 100 conversations. It's like a survey monkey. You're going to go fill out your informations and say complete. Number two, systemize. So as leaders, Eric talked about it. What if every month you had the 100 conversation which started for your organization, and every month you had 100 conversations at the beginning of the month? What kind of momentum could you build? What kind of results could you build? So systemizing it means that you actually figure out how you're going to have this be a part of your organization every single month. Do you do it on a Zoom? Do you ask every get team to do it with their people? Do you do it everyone together? So you've got all of, 500 people on the Zoom doing it. Do you do it in person? Do it in the club? How do you do it? But create the system within your organization of how you're going to implement the 100 conversations so that every single month you start the month with the 100, everyone starts with the 100 conversations. Okay, so that's part 2 of the work. 3 is you're going to continue to work on your 24-month goals and how you say it and how you do it, and you're going to share that within the group, all right? So you continue to work on it if you haven't done it, and if you've done it, that's going to be part of the work, is to share it within the group. Okay, so once you've completed them, have you got another one you want to bring? Okay. Okay, yes, and all the slides, you're going to have access to it. It'll be in local language. Okay, just so everybody knows as well. Okay, so there's going to be a bonus that we're going to give you. Remember I said it in the morning, this mastermind is going to get content and information that people don't normally get. So the conversation and the interview with Dan and Claire, where they talk about why they created their business system and how they created everything, I don't know, it's maybe like an hour conversation. Once you're in your groups, we're going to give you access to that interview. All right, so you guys can listen to that. You can take all the information. You can re-listen to it. By the way, all of this content from today, all right, is going to be available on a website that you're going to have access to. So you'll be able to go back and watch all of the content from today. Okay, so this is all going to live somewhere, and everything that we do in the mastermind is going to be on one landing page. Yeah, you guys can clap for that. Okay, where you're going to have access to all of that information. All right, so February 14th, this is going to be the deadline to complete all of the work. Okay? All right, so next. There's a survey that we want you to complete. Okay, so this is a post-event survey for today. So it's also a QR code. You can scan that. That way we take your feedback. Part of the goal of doing this is that we get better. Eric talked about it, right? So plan, do, review. So we're doing today. We want the feedback. We'll be taking the feedback all of the time because we want to give the best value and what's most effective and is going to help you the best so that you can reach your goals. All right, so that's the QR code. So you're going to be receiving the communication, the chat groups, the assignments within the next 10 days. It'll be next 10, okay, max 2 weeks. All right. And I think this is about it. Is that it? Did I miss something? Okay, good. All right, so here's the thing. To end up today, number 1, this is our second mastermind. We started in August of last year with North America. We started with about 800 people, some that flew in. But this is our first mastermind, and this is really the highest level mastermind. This is really a Premier League mastermind. I mean, if you think about it, everybody that's here in the room qualified Premier League as of November, and in all of the rooms around APAC. So I want to really congratulate you, because this is the highest level mastermind that we've ever had in the history of the company. And to do this in a room full of people and rooms full of people that are Premier League qualifiers, I mean, quite honestly, I was actually thinking that actually the mastermind should be for Premier League qualifiers. Like, I was actually like thinking about this. So, you know, congratulations to yourselves, first of all, because you did it, okay? And for us, you know, we've been like, oh my gosh, this room, it's just like the energy, the engagement. And by the way, let's bring up the rest of them. So they've been watching this online all day. So let us give you guys a hand. Absolutely amazing. Congratulations to all of you. Let's stand up and give them, give them an ovation for being with us all day. congratulations. And you get to say that you were at the very first ever mastermind in Asia Pacific. Like, this is a very, very, very special day. So I want to also let you guys know that this is also a joint effort. Okay, so you have in your rooms a lot of people that contributed, the key account managers, the local staff that you have to support. It's really amazing the relationship that we're developing and the teamwork that's coming together. As someone that was an Herbalife distributor for 32 years, but now 1.5 years as an employee, I've had a chance to experience both sides. What it's like to be a distributor and now what it's like to be an employee, okay, and an executive. And I can tell you this. As a distributor, we have no limits to where we can go. A lot of the work that distributors do, it's because they want to accomplish things. They want to make an impact. They want to, and there's no limits. As an employee, it's really a special breed of people because the hearts that they have and the time that they put in and the efforts that they make, it's really exceptional. And we have these situations where we recognize employees that have been 10 years with Herbalife, 20 years with Herbalife, 30 years with Herbalife, 40 years with Herbalife. The same way we recognize distributors for the amount of time. And sometimes I watch and it'll be like 35-year anniversary, someone working in Latin America that's been working in, distributor member services for 35 years, or that's their current position, but they've been 35 years with Herbalife. And what you realize is that the employees, the 8,000 employees that we have, the ones that you interact with, that you've known many of you for years and you see in the warehouses and you talk to on the phones, they do this because they love Herbalife and they believe in the mission of Herbalife. They don't have a marketing plan to become Chairman's Club and Founder Circle, and someone said make $100,000 a month in the business or $50,000 a month in the business. They do this, and it's a special breed of people. And so part of what I feel is very important now is that the closeness between distributors and the employees of our company is really important, and that we don't get enough opportunity to recognize them. So for all of your key account managers, for all of the staff, for all of the work that goes into making this happen, let's give them all a hand. I don't know where they are, but let's have them stand up. You have Sean, who's over here, in your room. Everyone that's making this happen. Rob, over here. Give him a hand. Umbi. So guys, we love you. Thank you for today. We'll see those of you tomorrow. And let's make this happen. Thank you very much.